And to me, it's nauseating. It's absolutely nauseating because
multiple mental health clinicians said that Derek had limited intellectual ability and was not capable of consenting.
Congratulations.
Boom. Right? Change soccer in America forever.
Hella bugs out here. Yeah, bro, I can't keep caressing my leg, boy. Trying to get freaky out here.
Your step siblings and also husband and wife.
I can't do any of that stuff.
That's right. Yeah, in fact, soccer can crawl up my asshole and die for all I care. And that's what the kids do, but I'm a little older. I like that shirt tucked in.
Who the hell told you that would not be seen on television?
Anal sex is the process of inserting a penis into the anus of another partner.
Oh, shit. Oh yeah, I was gonna remove that end part.
Did you see me shaking my head when that came on?
I know. I didn't let it go. Anyhow,
in fairness, I should have known because I didn't update the video on here. So
right. You should have probably known because I didn't fix it and send a new version to you. But anyhow, we're gonna get to that. We feel like that might be one of the reasons we're getting limited constantly is the whole anal talk thing at the end of the intro. Yeah. And that's, we're just going to test it out and see if that's what's doing it to us. But we got a lot to cover today, guys. We got, of course, the U20s, the U23s, the travesty of what that is. We got all kinds of things. And then, of course, the Matarazzo thing. We'll get into that as well. But welcome to the Straight Red Card. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma. Say hi to your stepsister for me if she is over as well. No sponsor today, unfortunately, and that happens on occasion. I seem to be dressing a little fancier than usual for the show. I'm not sure why, but thank you, Burnt Toast, for the nice shirt comment.
It's weird that I had to remind you didn't have a hat on. Go,
you did?
No, I said no hat today. And you go, yeah, I know.
Oh,
I don't know if you actually listened to what I said.
No, I couldn't hear you. So, but I fixed it anyhow. Oh, by the way, did you notice that Modest Mouse is being used on American Express commercials now? Isn't that nuts? We're all right.
How do you watch American Express commercials?
They're on the Olympics. They're being played during the Olympics. So
that's fair. That's fair. I stopped watching the Olympics.
And I don't really blame them because at some point you need to make money, right? So you're
you lived out those decades of more or less an indie type career.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Wish somebody would want to buy my music and use them on commercials. Frankly, I'm probably not going to happen anytime soon.
But you've garnered the respect of the indie crowd because you've sacrificed for so long. You better get paid.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Also watched this really cool video about something I never knew, which is called Texas Germans. Apparently, this town in Fredericksburg, up until the very last generation, has been speaking German since they settled here, in the 1800s. And they never stopped speaking German. That's pretty wild. And so I played some about that this weekend to my mom. She's like, it's a little peculiar the way they're talking, but it is German. It's just they drop certain vowels out of certain words, and they're kind of doing their own thing there, but it's still, I can understand what they're saying. So it kind of developed as the same way our English developed, right? We don't talk like Brits, right? So, and then, of course, you've got the Australians. They got all their own little new words and shit they talk about. So, also, I remembered a crush from, my childhood again. So I thought I'd bring it up. Molly Ringwald. Are you a Molly Ringwald fan?
I was, sure.
Yeah, I think we were all in love with Molly.
I dug her during the 80s and into the early 90s. Sure, why not?
Yeah, well, she's a redhead, and that's something I'm kind of into. Also, favorite gibberish song that you like? And I was thinking, somebody asked me that. I'm like, bird is the word? I don't know. Bird is the word. Bird.
Yeah. So speaking of music and everything like that, I attended a wedding this past weekend. My cousin was getting married.
Yeah.
And the DJ guy played. It was like listening to X103. So those who don't know, it was basically the 90s and early 2000s the entire time, which was cool. But every time a song would come on, I'd turn over to Evie. I go, Derek would be bitching right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What Tears of Jupiter is on. Oh god.
Oh god, no.
Hey, is that Hazel's sister right there here? You know, that's the shit that was coming up all the time, man. And I was just like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, I can get through this, but I mean, Derek would be in the corner, curled up into the fetal position right now.
Yeah, probably. Oh god, I'm glad I wasn't invited to whoever's wedding it was.
But the wedding itself wasn't even the most eventful thing that happened to me this week. And I know I already told you via text.
Yeah, you nearly died.
I nearly died. Yeah. I'm driving home from Michigan and to go pick up my kids who are my grandparents or my in-laws' house. And driving down 31, major highway, not interstate, major highway through the center of Indiana to get back to Noblesville. Get to Peru, which is about halfway down.
I know where that is.
And all of a sudden, I have the radio blaring. I've got iPads in the back playing, but I hear something strange. I'm like, what is that? So I turn the radio off and I roll down the window. Fucking tornado sirens were going off.
Nice.
And I had even pulled up. There was a supercell. It was like, you see Peru on the map? It was just red with a very thin line of green around it. Just over Peru. Like nothing anywhere else. It was just one little dot on Indiana.
Just shit and rain on you?
Well, it didn't rain that terrible, actually. It wasn't that bad.
Okay.
But still, I guess it was there. It was ready. Or maybe we got past it before it really hit or something. I don't know. But just before we got to Grissom's Air Base, I'm driving in the fast lane. In the slow lane, there's a car about a car and a half ahead of me and a car and a half behind me in the slow lane. And all of a sudden, the back of my car just spins. And I'm doing donuts, going 75 miles an hour down 31.
Holy fudge.
And I come to a complete stop doing a nice, sweet parallel park in a turn lane, staring at traffic.
Holy Christ.
Oh, my God. I put in park and go, what the fuck was that? I'm just driving straight.
Were all your kids screaming?
The kids handled it quite well, I think. I think they kind of enjoyed it, thought it was kind of fun.
I didn't even realize.
My nerves were shot, man. I drove the slow lane going the speed limit the rest of the way home.
So Brett texts me last night and he says, yeah, I almost died in a car wreck today. Yep, I was inches away. So I'm drinking myself to sleep tonight.
Yeah. I probably had a good 8 to 10 shots of bourbon last night.
Yeah, that'll shock anybody. By the way, almost 160 in you here already this early, 8 minutes into the show might be kind of a record. Usually we don't get to that until like 20 minutes. So I just want to thank you all. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma, and kiss your stepsister for me. Yeah, that's harrowing. I'm glad you're here and that you survived and that I don't have to find a new co-host to the show.
It would just be the sad Derek show.
Well,
We're going to talk about soccer today, guys.
Maybe I'll just keep going on Pete and Tack's show.
Yeah.
And just cancel our show.
Help make them money.
Yeah.
Or slowly tear their show down with all these stepsister talk. I mean, people are throwing a fit over there, man. They're like, God, enough with the get back to soccer talk. Okay, sure, why not?
Oh, geez, I know. Anyhow, those games were really hard to watch, both of them. And so it was good that, you know, when I go on Tack's show, we're able to conversate. When I go on Pete's show, we are able to conversate. Because if we didn't, we'd just be staring at the screen and not saying anything. Because the games were, in some cases, really, really poor to watch. They weren't enjoyable at all. And we'll get to that, by the way. I do want to congratulate Cole Campbell because he has been officially signed by the big boy team in Dortmund. So he's skipping the Dortmund 2 team.
Nice.
And going
I knew he was a part of their preseason when they went to the Swiss.
Right. Well, and they're losing Fulkrug, right? So
yeah,
maybe he'll get some shots in cup games and maybe more.
But, I mean, I know he in the youth levels. I thought he was playing more as a winger more than a striker.
Yeah, that's true. But you know,
it's kind of labeled it, but still, I don't know.
He's big enough to play center forward. That's for sure. Also, again, to the dumb mother who keeps making shark videos and doesn't know the difference between a sand tiger and a tiger shark. Like if you're doing a video about someone being attacked by a tiger shark, don't use a sand tiger as your thumbnail, because anybody who knows anything about sharks is not going to click on that because they already know you're an idiot. So just advice to that person.
They just looked up tiger shark and they clicked on the first one and happened to be a sand tiger.
Sand tiger, which, by the way, sand tigers don't attack anybody. All right, that's the funny part about it. They have these jagged teeth, but they don't attack human beings. I think there's maybe 2 cases in the history of man, whereas tiger sharks attack people on the regular. Okay. All right, that's enough of that. Sorry.
Will you get the turd already?
Yeah, let's get to the turd already.
Almost 12 minutes in, man. You're just now getting to him.
All right, welcome back to the Straight Red Card. What is Betty cooking? Is he cooking razzo balls? Some say yes, some say no. But my wife loves some of the Pellegrino's matzo balls. He doesn't have chocolate salty balls. He is Italian, so I don't think the matzo thing is going to work out there. But I love matzo ball soup. I think it's delicious. So, but I get the joke, and it's a good one. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, just because I heard you on Tax Show talking about his name, I want to pull it up.
Okay. Okay, Gonzalez. Hey, Derek, how's it going? I just wanted to say thank you and Brett for giving me entertainment, not just for soccer. So can my mind be away from what's happening at my parents' country, Venezuela? Oof. Yeah, I mean, that's heavy shit. I wish you the best. That can't be easy. Because it just all seems up in the air right now. And sorry to hear that.
Hopefully the parents are stateside.
Yeah. Did I have anything else I wanted to bring up before we got to soccer?
I got a non-soccer Olympic talk to bring up.
Okay, let's do it. Do it.
So this is the most. This is here in Paris. So I'm gonna have to try to be careful with what we're showing here.
Okay.
Maybe I won't do audio. It wouldn't matter. The whole point of this is. Have you seen this video yet?
Is this the one where the pole collapses, or is this the one where the guy doesn't get over the bar because his penis hits the bar?
Well,
literally.
Derek, why don't you spoil? I'm not going to tell you which one it is.
Okay.
But you spoiled it, Derek. Way to go.
I've seen them
Next
both.
time, just say, I think so, Brett. Why don't you play it in case everybody else hasn't seen this video yet?
The one with the package is the funniest.
No.
That's.
What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen?
Is this the penis one?
I don't know.
All right, keep going. Yes. Oh, right in the sack. Ouch.
Oh, no, I mean, I would. Yeah, you feel that pain later, of course, but man, I mean, you'd be pissed on one side because you're like, hey, I would have made that, would have moved on. Possibly meddled somewhere.
Yeah.
But I've got this enormous schlong that it didn't wrap up properly.
I got this massive package that I can't tuck in. Like, I mean, you would think
he's packing his another pole vault in there. In case this one snaps, he can whip it right out.
You would think they would have found a way to tighten that area up a little bit on him. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately for him, he was denied a medal because his pecker got in the way.
But good news is he received a lot of phone numbers that night.
I'm sure he did.
He's going to get some consolidation sex probably.
He's become a folk hero. I hear he's going to be in Playgirl magazine soon. Is that still a thing? Is there a Playgirl magazine?
I don't know.
I don't know either. There used to be, by the way, people, if you're not aware, a Playboy and a Playgirl magazine. One was with naked dudes. The other one was naked women. But, articles as well.
Things could have gone a lot worse for him, though.
Right. Hey, did you watch that video I sent you? Did not watch at school with the naked woman at the airport?
No, I did not watch that.
Well, yeah. Don't watch that at school. There's a woman.
That's your response. Well, yeah.
Don't watch it at school. She strips down naked at the airport. She's on drugs and demands other passengers blank her pussy. She won't. Yeah, it's crazy.
Bernto saw it though.
I don't know what we're turning into, but
yeah.
Jesus. All right.
Everybody's going for their 15 minutes of fame.
You think
it worked for That motherfucker is not real. Work for her. Working for Hakutua. You know, everybody's getting 15 minutes of fame. You want to be the naked girl at the airport? Go for it.
Yeah. No, that's a little more extreme than Hawk-2ing it. Okay? Just a little more. Because she was out of her mind. And it was an airport in Jamaica. She was the only white chick there. And everybody else is just looking at her going, what the hell is
In fairness,
wrong?
I've recently been to that airport. I would probably want to take drugs going there again.
Which that is that Kingston?
Yeah, it's yeah. They have the massive corral system, and it's just you're going like it's like room after room of corrals, and there's no AC. There's a couple fans blowing in high windows. Oh my god, it was miserable.
We're so spoiled. The luxuries of AC.
Hey, that's something that they can have too. That's a choice.
I mean, it is probably a choice, yeah. I'm sure their budget isn't like, we're the wealthiest country in the world. So
Sure.
You know.
So yeah,
Jamaicans can barely afford to pay their own soccer players for the national
talking
team.
about their fucking airports, man.
Well, if they can't pay for their soccer team, I can't imagine they're going to have a lot of extra money hanging around to build and put in AC at the airport.
Well, I mean that airport's more of a moneymaker than their soccer team is.
Well, and that airport's almost 60, 70 years old. I mean, it's
airport
old.
has one fucking runway. It is a nonstop conveyor belt of planes leaving and planes landing the entire time.
You would think that Kingston would have a bigger airport. You would, but it's an old airport. I probably overaged it, but you get the point. All right, what else we got? Let's get on.
Right here, anyways. We're talking about the pole vaulters. I'm like, hey, it could have been worse for the guy. He only knocked the pole over with his dong.
Yeah.
But there have been horrible videos out there. Horrible videos of pole vaulting accidents.
Yep. Okay.
You talked about the pole actually shattering on people.
Yep.
Pretty dangerous. There's a video out there of a guy going up about 10 feet and then falling right back down.
Yep.
There's
it's dangerous. It's dangerous.
But then there's this one.
There you go.
Oh no! Don't play
There you go.
Oh
I love the slow motion part of it, man.
Okay, enough. I can't watch that. That should have had a trigger warning.
Oh man.
You think that went up his butt for sure?
It did. It would have punctured something.
God,
and there's only a quarter of an inch difference around that area. So
we need to look up to see if this guy's okay. Because, by the way, being punctured intestinally is not a good thing. Like, there's not a lot of great ways to fix that. So
he may have popped his sack. You don't know. Could have been that.
I mean, it could have been, but if it did go up his butt and like ruptured an intestine or something, that means that you'll be shitting through a bag, and it like ruptured his colon. You'll be shitting through a bag the rest of your life, which is horrible. It's a horrible thing.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's move on, and no
Straight
more
to
of
the
that,
folks. That's a taint shot. F in the chat.
Okay.
Did he die? Damn me, erect him.
All right, guys. Thanks. Very good. For almost 230 of you in here now on Twitter and on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma. All right. On we go to soccer, I'm guessing.
We're on to soccer topics already. I know. It's only been 20 minutes.
Only 20 minutes.
We only covered like 2 topics.
I know. No, but I threw in Modest Mouse. I threw in Texas Termins.
Sure, you did have a couple in there, yeah.
Mine are all Molly Ringwald. What else did I talk about? Yeah. Gibberish songs.
So Lawless has been going on a tear recently with the whole pay-to-play system.
You don't say.
People are like, oh, we need to be like the rest of the world, and all the travel programs and stuff like that need to be free. They need to be free. And Lawless is like, well, no, the money's got to come. These people got to get paid, man.
Well, the money does have to come from somewhere.
Yeah. Well, they need to be paid. Now, mind you, maybe not necessarily like the front office don't need to be getting paid like 6 figures or something like that. We're talking about like just travel programs in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
But Yeah, I mean, the coaches got to get paid, the refs got to get paid, field maintenance, all that shit. There's got to be some money somewhere.
Sure.
And
well, that's the big problem, right?
Yeah,
we don't know where the money's going to who's going to put the money forward.
Yeah, we don't have that many clubs around that have paid for academy programs.
Except for MLS,
some USL.
Yep.
And then for the most part, at that point, you're looking at anywhere between 3,000 and 5,000, depending on how rural you go.
Right.
For the good ones, you can still get cheap. You can still get cheaper club teams that can range anywhere between like $300 a season up to $1,200 a season or whatever. And then you have the big DA, etc. clubs.
And then you got YMCA. They host their own leagues for little shits,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So if you really want to go cheap, you can go there. That's like $70 a season.
Yeah, I was gonna say you still got to pay for the YMCA membership though.
Maybe I don't remember if I did or not. But when Nick first started when he was 5, of course, just to make sure he was interested in playing, I started him out at the YMCA soccer league when he was 5. And then, if he was interested, then, we'll talk about or he was any good.
I'm utilizing Noblesville United Rec program right now for that with Jack. Jack's really getting into soccer at this point. Like everything he's watching on YouTube, all the games he's playing on his iPad. He comes down here and plays, FC 24, which means he's probably played easily 100 hours more than I played.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, it's he's getting into it. I'm like, hey, you show me you're dedicated into wanting to play the sport, and then I'll start forking over the money. But I'm not forking over the money until we get that point.
Exactly.
We're getting to that point.
Right. I mean, once they're like, I love this. This is all I want to do is play soccer. You're like, well, okay.
I'll start forking over the money.
I'll lay down the cash. I think we may have missed a super chat, by the way.
Yeah. I got that. I'll get it.
Okay.
Actually, let's get it before we do this.
Jeff Carey. Spicy Jeff says from 199, Armand Duplantis can fly. He's a rock star. Must be another one of those pole vaulters would be my guess.
It's when this came up, so.
Yeah, okay. Hey, thanks, Jeff. I'll look him up who that is after. He sounds like a French guy. That's what he sounds like. Let's see. Salmon says
Armand Duplantis is a Swedish-American track and field athlete. So it could be a pole vaulter. Yes, he's a pole vaulter.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Right now I'm watching badminton.
It looks like he got a gold.
Oh, good for him.
For Sweden, though, unfortunately.
It looks like he's for Sweden.
Yeah, okay. You son of a bitch.
All right, let's get to this lawless thing.
Hang on first. Okay.
Question is, do you want a better balance between affordability and getting the largest possible player pool to produce better players like they're doing in other continents? And Alexi says, I want as many people playing soccer in America as possible, but not at the literal expense of those making their living in soccer. Okay, well, let's take that statement on its own, because people around the world making a living at soccer without pay to play. All right, but they do it in a different way. Obviously, in England, if you sell on a player, you get a percentage of the sell-on price for the rest of his career. That's how they make money.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever that percentage is, whatever that's agreed on, percentage depending on where you live. Okay.
Technically, that's stateside too, but MLS drags their feet and won't pay out the payments. They drag it in court. They continue to push it. I think there's only been a couple of teams that have gotten what is the actual terminology called for that payment?
I don't know. We'll just stick to payout.
We've talked about it before. Like Yedlin was the big one.
Yeah, I don't remember what those are called. Like the definition, the real
Starts with
world.
an R, I believe, but I can't think of it.
I don't know.
So solidarity payments.
There we go.
Thank you, Jackie D. It does not start with an R.
Right. Starts with an S. Yeah, so
starts with a Q, I believe.
That's still something they're all, we haven't really completely figured out here in the US. And until we do, then it's really hard for those academies outside of the MLS systems that are making money by charging parents and kids to play soccer. There's got to be a replacement somehow for that money. And now, does that mean you make sort of a slow transition into that somehow? Like, every year, like at least another percentage of the kids that you bring in have to be scholarship kids. So it starts out at 99% have to pay, and the next year it's 98. The next year you can only 97 can pay, but 3% have to be scholarship until there's enough time for them to, i.e., get all the way down to it being like 30%, right?
So,
are paying.
That's the
and then, but they're making money off the kids that they already developed who are going off to MLS or USL.
That's the whole Stanford type of model when it comes. I think it's Stanford, where they actually, don't charge. I think again, it may not be Stanford, maybe one of those colleges over there though, where the students don't actually have to pay for their tuition. What happens is that once people graduate, and when IU's probably done it to you, when IU reaches out to you, say, "Hey, we'd love it if you donate some money to this IU, give us more of your money fund." Have you ever received those, Derek? Yeah. So I'd be happy. I'd be happy to pay. I'd be happy to give them money, even a monthly sum of money, if they didn't charge me tuition to go to the freaking school. So like I said, I think it's a Stanford that does it, where the kids don't actually have to pay for tuition. It's all covered by this fund that they've acquired over the course of a couple decades. That's paying for itself at this point. And then the more people that are going through the school, they're coming back and say, "Hey, can you give us some money?" And they're like more than happy to give you $100 here, $100 there, because they didn't have to pay.
Well, that's not Stanford. It's definitely
it's somebody.
It ain't Stanford.
Yeah, then we just said that too, but it's somebody. I forgot who it is now.
Listen, that's an interesting idea that you don't pay upfront tuition; you pay a percentage of whatever you make for the rest of your life.
I wouldn't even say that.
Whatever it is,
yeah.
You could probably say it, but that is sort of what I'm talking about. It would have to be a gradual plan. Like every year you lose 2%. 2% of your academy has to be scholarship. They're free, absolutely free. And you could also do the thing that there's pay to play, but once the player actually becomes a professional, then you have to give the money back, to the parents, because now that team, whoever bought them, has to pay that academy, the 10% or whatever was agreed upon, right? So they're already making money, so you should refund the parents. I don't know how you do it. I don't know what the answer is, but right now there is no such solution. No one's come up with one. But anyhow, but not at, he says, the literal expense of making their living in soccer. Also, while I'd like both, if it's a choice between winning World Cups or more Americans getting paid more in jobs in soccer, I'll take the jobs. Well, I don't know. What's that about?
When I got, how many people are legitimately making their living? Like, not a surplus cash from, after you get done with your 9 to 5, you go and you're coaching this club team at a high level and you're getting paid money, but actually making their living in soccer.
I mean, because in Bloomington, there was an academy there, and they're making money, and everybody there is a full-time employee.
I would wager that their quote unquote front office, if you will, is certainly getting paid well enough to live off of.
I mean, I'm sure that Tax Academy isn't free. So listen, there are solutions to make a transition. But U.S. Soccer would need to commit to that. The legal system would have to back it up. And until then, it's going to be really hard. Unless a solution like I just made up off the top of my head is created, it's going to really be hard to get rid of pay to play. It's not going to happen. So, I mean, he can have these. I see him have these arguments every fucking day. I can't believe he responds every fucking day. Because frankly, and nobody comes up with like a real solution either. So it's like, why are you just bitching at him about pay to play? Like, he can't fix it. He couldn't fix it if he wanted to. He's never even talked about a solution. But then that last statement's a little weird. He'd rather have jobs for the academies than win a World Cup. I mean, I guess. What if I told you, Lawless, there's a solution and we just haven't come up with it yet? There you go.
Well, I mean, and even this kind of leads more into more of a, making more jobs, Americans getting paid. Who cares about a silly trophy type thing? That'd be the look at that statement.
I mean, I want people to have jobs, but if there's another way to do it where they have jobs, but kids are on a bigger percentage of kids are on scholarship every year, then let's do that until they can transition and actually make money off the players they develop. There's that. But that's not going to work for everybody. It's not. Some people just upright quit and go get another job. And then you have less academies all of a sudden. So there's that issue too. So
I think a chunk of that development without an argument for cost is going to come down to people who don't make a living in soccer willing to volunteer their time to try to improve the development aspect. To give an example, self-promoting here. Jackson starts his new season tomorrow. I'm his coach. I got my brother assisting as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are going to be offering an additional training day. Not only our kids, but I'm going to be passing it to all U10s.
Okay.
Come out and train stuff. That type of stuff's going to have to increase, I think, personally, if you want to start seeing increased development without the cost behind it.
Yeah. Well, and we're talking about costs. Then we're talking about the costs of getting your licenses, which is absolutely just ridiculous.
But if you work with a club, if you're actually part of a club, they actually do pay for your licenses.
Some of them do. Yeah, not
True.
all.
I mean, it does depend. I mean,
yeah.
A rando club in bumfuck rural Indiana won't do it.
No,
I agree. But if you're anywhere around Indianapolis area or any of Lafayette, Muncie, all that South Bend, Evansville, any major club around that area will do it.
And it gets more expensive the higher up you go. So,
Oh, sure. I mean, you only got to go so far, quite frankly, at the club level.
Yeah. All right. Well,
you're not going to be coaching a national team anytime soon.
Yeah, right. No, I'm definitely not. All right. Well, that's that on that issue. I mean, if I were him, I would stop answering all these statements because
I showed you why, though. And this is the same reason why I showed Tac brought up the what was the big thing that he said that Lala said recently that was so egregious. It was so ridiculous.
Oh, he said we should have. Hey, he asked.
Oh, yes.
Wouldn't you have rather almost brought these U23 kids to the Copa America?
Yeah. Well, and everyone's sitting there going like, "Oh, why would you even suggest such a thing?" And I took a screen cap of his post. And it's this portion right here. I just took it like this, screen cap like that, and he had like 500,000 views or something stupid on it. And I'm like, guys, he knows what he's doing. He actually understands the algorithm.
He's mocking us on purpose to get us to watch. So
he's not actually suggesting we send that U23 to Copa. He's not. There's no chance in hell he's doing. Maybe some players, but he's not talking about that team.
Even Mossy had a smile on his face, like, you know what you're doing, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing with this. He knows these type of talks, the pay to play, will garner hits. People will come on, comment, "Oh, you're a moron, you're stupid, blah blah blah." But they keep going there, keep clicking.
Yeah.
So
all right,
makes it relevant. By all means, do it. By all means, go for it, man.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing,
yeah.
And that's why I don't even get upset anymore. I'm just like, I know what you're doing. I mean,
I like bringing these up for talking points. This is a fun conversation we just had.
He literally came on our show and told us he trolls people on purpose.
Yeah,
he came on this show and said, "I just do it for sport."
It's social media, of course. That's what you do.
Yep.
I mean, I understand it.
But he's losing a lot. Did you see that online poll about how many people listen and respect him? And he was like 10%.
No,
that's not very good. I mean, he's not going to care.
Fox isn't going to get rid of him anytime soon. He's going to milk that, and he'll continue to milk his podcast. People will listen to him. The same reason why people who hate Winalda listen to Winalda.
Well, yeah. And I think that Lawson agree, like he embraces being the Darth Vader of soccer, right?
No, yeah.
But by the way, we're currently at 269.
Hey,
bing, 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 bing. Make sure you like, subscribe, and doing, I don't know, whatever with your stepsister. All right.
Hit that notification bell. You did the ding, 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 but just in case I don't know what that means.
Right.
You
Okay.
have to do all our shows. Or, our shows come out every Monday and Thursday. You know when it's coming out. You don't even have, go ahead and hit that notification bell. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, no, hit it, because even though we're on Monday and Thursday at 8:15 every week, you might forget. All right.
And not only that, but Derek painstakingly goes back through and listens to our shows multiple times to find content, to clip, and post.
Yeah.
For those people who can't sacrifice 2 or 3 hours of their day to listen to us ramble.
I won't be doing that tonight, by the way. I got to get up.
You got a busy day. Yeah, I know.
I know. I got to get up at 6:30 tomorrow morning.
I feel like we got to just start looking at our topics and then knowing approximately when we started and go there, because the clipping itself and snipping shouldn't take that long, but you're having to listen to the whole thing to find it.
You're right.
So we need to start marking that was a good conversation. Let's see, around the 60-minute marker,
Yeah, or the relevant one people will care about.
Exactly.
Mini World Cup plans: Spain, France to play in Gold Cup 2025. I mean, if those are the only two, that's not really a mini World Cup.
Well, no, they go into talking about it, but that's the headline. Is that Spain and France apparently got the invite, and we'll go into here. I got some quotes for it.
So that means
there's gonna be 2 teams from each federation joining the Gold Cup is what they're looking at.
That's cool. That sounds more like a Confederations Cup than a Gold Cup, but
you're still gonna have Cuba and Guatemala in there.
Right. No, you are. But, we got to do something. And, if there's no Copa, I mean,
that's basically what the article says, is that, hey, we got to do something to prepare ourselves for the World Cup.
Are we going to have Nations League at the same time?
Probably.
So I guess what we're going to do is play the big boy team for both Gold Cup and Nations League.
Or the new whoever the new coach is going to be will try to, hey, instead of bringing Tyler Adams to Nations League and you want to use him in the Gold Cup, maybe we bring Maloney and we utilize him some. And you start utilizing some of these outliers who don't actually get playing time because we have the same 26 players coming in.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's still a travesty to this day that a guy like Maloney doesn't get a sniff when Adams is obviously now have had surgery again and shouldn't have played at all in that tournament. But you know what? Gregg's gone. So we'll see what happens. We shall see what happens. Spencer Dirty for 639. Even my girlfriend knows.
369. You little dyslexia there, Derek.
What did I say?
You said 639.
Oh, 369. Even my girlfriend knows what days your shows are on now. Laughing my ass off. Does she watch though, Spencer? That's the question. We're not really
judging by our analytics. No, she does not watch our show.
I think we have like less than one.
We're one of shows where we have 100% male retention. Now I say that, but the vast majority of people who utilize YouTube are males.
Okay.
It is what it is. I mean, you could have like the most girly, like a Barbie show, and it'd still be like 60% male.
That might be true. Let's say it's 70-30 male on YouTube.
Yeah.
We ain't getting any of that 30%.
Of that 30%, how many of those are soccer fans watching YouTube videos?
Right. Frank Hassler for $2. Thank you, Frank, for this info. Nations League is in March, so I guess you could.
Well, that's qualifiers, though, right? That's qualifying to get into, or is that? Wait, hold on, is that?
Regardless, tournaments aren't at the same time, or it's so close together that you use one team for one and one team for another. It'll probably be, since we're leading up to the World Cup the next year, they're going to try to get that A squad as much time together as absolutely possible with the new coach, the new manager.
I shouldn't second guess Frank. I mean, even Godcon follows up with saying the finals in March.
Yeah,
I thought the final for Nations League was like more like May. I thought March was more like qualifying, but maybe I'm wrong. Who cares? It doesn't really matter. We know now.
Well, you're getting your M's mixed up. But you were closer than I was, because I was just like, I don't remember anything. Jeff Carey for $199. I am XXXY.
You're everything.
You're like a hermaphrodite. All right. Good for you, Jeff. Spicy Jeff. What else we got here? Quarters are in November. Okay.
Good. It's good information, guys. Good information.
Good to know. We're really, both of us are bad with dates. So
yeah.
And I don't mean like the ones we take out.
Hey, got about those two, I guess.
I mean, I was good at it once. Now I want nothing of it. All right. The proposed expansion would see the inclusion of 16 teams from CONCACAF alongside 2 teams from each CONMEBOL, UEFA, Africa, and Asia. Oh, screwing Oceania right in the butthole.
But you can't find 2 teams from Oceania to bring in that would be improving the quality of Gold Cup.
Yeah, exactly. You couldn't. So it would be.
Wait, no, we're playing one of them here in September.
It would be like Caledonia and New Zealand or Fiji and New Zealand. I mean, yeah, that's not helping anybody. The format aims to elevate the level of competition, offering a more rigorous test for the participating teams. Egypt, one of the most successful African football nations, is among the teams rumored to receive an invitation. All right, well, that's all nice to hear, and I hope it comes together. I think we having a little tournament in 2025 leading into 2026 would be really cool. I think it'd be necessary. We're going to need our guys, since they're not doing any qualifying whatsoever, to play as many games as they can possibly get underneath their belt.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep.
Agreed.
And whenever we get a new manager, whenever that is.
Whenever that happens.
In a significant development for international soccer, Spain and France are reportedly among the non-CONCACAF teams invited to participate in the 2024 Gold Cup. Well, at least they went out and got the best ones, huh?
Yeah.
According to Bolovip, that's where, by the way, Kelvin Loyola works. CONCACAF aimed to expand the tournament from 16 to 24 teams, transforming it into a mini World Cup. Listen, all for it. Let's make it happen. I agree with PT69. Oceania should just merge with Asia at this point, or do what we do here. Like Central America has their tournament, and then out of that tournament, a few teams make it to the next level, and then the Caribbeans have their tournament, and the islands do, and a few teams make it out, advance out of that to the main tournament, the bigger tournament, qualifying tournament. Let's snip the small guys out, and because those teams are never ever going to have a chance, never. The only team in Oceania that's got a chance at anything, and it ain't much, is New Zealand. So I agree with that. Johnny for $2. Hey, Larry, hope you're well. Bello is our best domestic raised left back. It's Fubar. Oh, God. Well, he did play recently. I'll give him that. So there's that. He did play last first game or second game of the season. I think he may have played both, and I think he went 90 in both, from what I can remember. So, listen, we'll see. Keep an eye on him. But Lask in the Austrian league, it's all right. It's all right. Clampack FC 9.99. Thank you, Clampack. Where did you guys hear that when MLS originally formed, there was a deal with U.S. Soccer that there will never be P&R? Thoughts on...
Pause. Let's handle these one at a time here.
Yeah, okay. So, actually, the original deal with FIFA was to have Pro and Rel.
The president of U.S. Soccer at that time, I don't know who it was, there was an entire letterhead page that was sent out that stated that the goal was to have Pro and Rel.
Eric Winalda published that somewhere on Twitter.
About a month ago, maybe. A handful of weeks ago. I don't know. It's in that range.
So the document is public. And then we'll get to the second one here. Thoughts on 2 Division 1, one for MLS and one open for all the other clubs in USA.
USL's vying for this right now. So there was a
okay.
What's his face? The little Wallace brother, right?
Greg.
Yeah, he went on Tax Show and talked about this, where they're mulling over the concept of doing promotion relegation, and if they did mull that over, the big thing they really have to stick and land is getting Division 1 status. So that would require U.S. Soccer to sit there and say, well, we're granting 2 different leagues with Division 1 status.
They'd have to change the rules then, because a lot of USL teams don't qualify based on, stadium size,
ownership, off of their bankroll.
Right, exactly.
You have to have, it is a stupid amount of money in order to be classified Division 1.
Right. So the rules would need to change at U.S. Soccer. And right
Which they
now,
could do willy-nilly. Well, they had to get Garber to sign off on it too.
no, they're not going to do it willy-nilly because the board is made up of Garber's friends.
Yep.
So
Stooges.
the board would have to change, as well as the voting committees would have to change. And I know there's an increase of players on those voting committees, but look at the players that they're picking to be on those committees. And then I know there's an increase of coaches, but look at the coaches that are on there.
We're a capitalist country. I mean, at that point, wouldn't MLS like yearn for some competition?
No, dude.
Some of the league to come in and really like take some of their market value away. That way they have to really strive and succeed to be better.
Dude, we live in an oligarchy, not a fucking capitalist country. So yeah,
we're told one thing, but we do live in the other. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in a day in an era when there were 152 record companies putting out records. All right, and now we're down to what, 4? I lived in a time when all the newspapers were independent and owned themselves, and now there's like 3 companies that own every major newspaper in the whole United States. This isn't the kind of capitalism that, you know, you would be talking about back in the 80s and the 70s. No. Everything's practically a monopoly now. Let's just suck it up and see it as it is, because that's what it is. And that goes for communications too. There used to be, you know, a gazillion channels, independent channels. Now ABC owns ESPN, or maybe it's the other way around, in Disney, and they're all in coots and bed together. They're one gigantic conglomerate, right?
Hey, we're still independent.
What's that?
So we're still independent.
Yeah, we're still independent. Yes. So anyhow, it's not great. And you can say they're 2 political parties, untouchables, but sometimes it's kind of like there's one giant neocon party maybe, and then some outliers. That's about it. So there you go. Anyhow, not to get too political, for the over 300 of you here, make sure that you like, subscribe, share it with grandma. We would appreciate that. All right, Jack Pineda says, damn, Derek, you are old. I'm not really that old, although I just added another year.
Yeah, when Derek was young, they had 3 TV channels plus PBS.
That's true. There were ABC, NBC, CBS, and PBS. Yep. When I was a little kid, that's all I got. That's all we had. And you had to actually physically turn the knob on the channel to get the channels. And then you had to remove the rabbit ears to make it work sometimes. So
good old days and rabbit ears.
Yep.
Larry, you're going to have to specify what chat you just comment again what you want me to pull up, because there's so many comments there for me to pull up. And I know you need to go to sleep and everything. We can basically, I mean, he's got a kid, I guess. So I guess that's probably the reason why. So just make one last comment, Larry. Make one last comment and I'll pull it up.
Hey, Larry, by the way, congrats on the kid. I know it was months ago now, but I hope it's going well. You're probably not sleeping much, and I totally understand what that's like. And Brett and I both have empathy for you, but I hope it's going good, and, you know, and the kid's healthy, and, you know, yeah, all that good stuff. All right.
While we're waiting for Larry to comment, let's move on to our next topic, and that is going to be
transfer news. Transfer news. Who's getting mounted on transfer news? Who's getting over on transfer news? Transfer news. Everyone loves that transfer news, but me. Whatever.
All righty.
Before we even jump into transfer news, we had another $5 super chat.
Thank you, Wuxia Games Center. Good to see you around. As always, $5. MLS doesn't qualify for D1 status either. They don't have owners. They all share revenue. And they also don't participate in domestic competitions. That is absolutely true. However, nobody's holding them accountable at U.S. Soccer.
Whatsoever.
And,
so you expect Garber and his stooges to hold themselves accountable? No, it's never going to happen.
And you know who's not holding U.S. Soccer accountable? CONCACAF or FIFA. So
FIFA just loves the money, though, as far as the developing game in the United States. So why would they care?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, there were rumors back in the day that Sepp Blatter was pushing MLS to do pro rel, but in the end, he gave up on it. So there you go.
Yeah.
Sepp Blatter. There's a name I haven't said for a while.
It's been a while, yeah.
You know what about Sepp Blatter? You know what about him? He smells like sausages.
Yeah, I recall this. Was this this is the D-Rec comment, I believe, if I recall
it was.
correctly.
Sepp Blatter smells like sausages. All right, U.S. men's national team attack. Again, I guess what you would call a site like U.S. men's national team attack is he converges information, right? And
he combs through the mess, finds the goodies, and posts it, and then he gives credit. And I believe he even posts the link. Nope, he does. Maybe he does.
He does.
He posts the actual link to wherever it goes to.
Right. This is to Tom. Don't bogart that joint.
Wait. I didn't realize that Tom was there. Hold on. Where's it at? There it is.
Bogart that joint, my friend. Pass it over to me.
I wasn't ready for it.
We got totally banned for that last time.
Oh, did we?
Yes.
All right, I'll remove that from our category, our list.
Yep, exactly. So we got busted. I had to clip that out last time.
Well, shite. Well, it's gone now. Won't ever pull it up again.
Yep. It's too bad you play like a 3-second clip and you get banned for it. But
that's the thing though. That was like 13 seconds. That's still fair use. Technically, we could argue that.
We could.
It's just not worth it.
Is it 13?
I deleted it already. I don't even remember anymore.
Okay. All right. So we can't play that anymore, people, because apparently they don't like humor. All right. A Bundesliga club is pushing to sign Matt Turner. Can't we just know who that is? I wish they would just know who that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's so general.
What if they said like Frankfurt is pushing to sign Turner on loan? I guess that could kind of piss off the goalkeeper you already have there. Maybe
is this Matt Turner's agent pushing this out? Maybe. That their Bundesliga team? Because Matt Turner wants apparently to go to the Bundesliga. That's where he would like to go.
Turner wants to get playing time. I mean, at this point. Go to the championship. I mean, if the Bundesliga team wants you, go to Bundesliga. Fuck it.
Dude, he's like the 4th string keeper right now.
And they're looking to bring another goalkeeper.
It's just insane.
What is it with Forest and wanting to have like 500 goalkeepers ready to roll at any given moment?
And
that is the weirdest thing in the world. It's like, hey, bone up on other positions too, bro.
Yeah. Belts is already there, the presumed starter, and then they got another guy who might take his spot. Who knows? But it's just crazy.
Who's the other guy that they're talking about bringing in? I don't remember anymore.
Well, how about your Nottingham Forest Academy kid who's 21 or 19 being the 3rd string? Why are you spending money on fucking 5 goalkeepers? Exactly.
Well, especially since with Forest, you're dealing with the whole fair play anyways.
Right.
Why are you wasting more money on extra goalkeepers? You already got 2 signed at this point. Forget Turner. You just signed a new guy. Stick with those 2 guys. Bring in an academy kid, like you said. Fuck it.
2 guys is usually enough.
More than enough.
And then you bring up some young kid to sit on the pine every weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Turner is hopeful for a move to the Bundesliga. Okay, that's fine. And Turner's I wish him well.
Move anywhere.
Just get the hell out of there. If you end up in the championship or you end up in if you end up in 2 Bundesliga, better than not playing at all.
That right there. But discussions with Forest haven't been the easiest.
Yeah.
Why?
Boger didn't explain that at all on the show, the Galazzo show, whatever.
I mean,
why has it not been the easiest? Because Nottingham Forest are just erratic children, or
maybe they paid 8 and they're only off. Well, it's a loan. Who cares? Get them off your books.
Nottingham Forest hasn't been the easiest because they're always way too stoned to communicate. I mean, I don't know what it is. They're always high on heroin and unable to make a deal. All right.
Well, something strange. What a weird way of wording things. And if Forest are being the pain, why?
Yeah.
You're never going to play the guy. Why?
He wants to go. Let him go. He's never playing there again.
What they pay like $8 million from
well, they're not getting $8 million.
Arsenal, wasn't it? Yeah, no, that's the thing. Maybe that's the case. Maybe again, it's a loan, so they're not going to worry about that anyways. But maybe they're looking at it going like, no, we want to get at least $4 million from him. Look, he played in the Nations League and he played in Copa. Look at him go. Whee!
Well, at least you could send him on loan and make up a portion of what you're paying for him, you know? So send him on loan.
Maybe build up value for it to sell later, you know?
Yeah, right.
If he plays and plays well, who knows?
I'm kind of giving up on that, Brett.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Derek, but I'm just saying, the guy needs his confidence back. When he had his confidence when he was playing with Revs, I mean, he was a baller in between the pipes. Now his ability with his feet still sucked donkey balls.
Yep.
But he can make saves. That's all that mattered at that point.
He used to be a great shot stopper.
Yeah.
And now that kind of regular shot stopping just isn't in his repertoire as much as it used to be. Like you used to be shocked by his like instinctual, like bam, just he was in the right place all the time, saving point blank shots. So if he can get back to that, then maybe there's hope. But right now, my hope level, and by the way, holding every U.S. American player, U.S. big boy team player accountable going forward is going to be much harsher.
Yeah.
No more Gregg to make an
No buddy.
Right.
My when it comes to goalkeeper at this point, I'm in the camp where I'm like, hey, September, don't bring any of the big guys back. Don't bring Horvath. Don't bring Turner. Let's just bring up Schulte and let's bring up Gaga. Let's let them battle it out and get one game each and start testing the waters on these up and coming kids, because our current crop are not panning out.
Or whatever American goalkeeper
True.
in MLS is kicking ass, completely kicking ass.
I'm still a big fan of Celentano. I bring him up every show when we talk about goalkeepers.
Right.
Yeah, there's got to be other ones.
I mean,
is Stefan playing well at Colorado at this point?
He got better.
Doing well.
The season started horrible, but he's gotten better as the season went along. But I'd let Colorado Rapids fans tell me about that. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just saying, we know what we're going to get from Turner at this point. He needs to just go to a club, start playing, etc. Horvath is Horvath. He's always been Horvath, which means that he's going to ride pine regardless of who's in front of him at this point.
No, he'll play next season. He's in the championship.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
And he played all last season once he got the move. So
I meant for the U.S. men's national team, not necessarily for the club at this point.
I mean, I don't know why you don't give Horvath the chance, because frankly, he's at least playing, and his feet aren't bad. You know,
if it was a competitive match, then yes, we could talk about that. But with it being a September window against New Zealand and Canada, let's start testing some other people. And I'm not just talking about goalkeepers at that point.
Well, you could bring in Horvath and then two new guys, completely new people.
Sure.
You know, but you want to bring at least one guy that's been around camp that you can rely on.
I have not been stoked on Calendar since he's been called up to the national team. Period.
Yeah, been a little bit up and down for him there.
Yeah.
Chris Brady, another good name.
Cap tie coaching.
He's still so young. He's barely out of diapers. So, but he has good feet. So that bodes well for 2030 maybe. But at his age, still so young.
Chris Brady falls into the same category as Schulte and Gaga at this point. They're all vying for those two goalkeeper spots for the Olympics. Of course, you know, Gaga's got the experience in Europe, and Schulte was the reigning MLS, winner. So you might as well. But I mean, Brady's got his faults. I'm not gonna, just because he plays for Chicago, I'm not gonna stroke him.
Right. Nope.
He has his faults, absolutely. But
no reach arounds on this. No reach arounds on this show. All right, what else? Frank Kassler, $2. No Schulte, give Cochin a chance. I don't care about his age. I mean, I've heard people say that. If you're good enough, you're old enough. But I would put this out there. How many games have we all got to watch Cochin play yet? Because the Barcelona youth team, academy, and 2 team, we just don't get to see any of those games. So I need to see some more. I've seen him play one game. One. That's not enough. I need to see more. And that's not on him. That's on me. I mean, I got to figure out a way to do it. And I haven't figured out a way to do it. Why are we writing off Stefan? We're not. We're just asking. So, hey, Colorado Rapid fans, is Stefan having a good season? Because it started off pretty rough.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, that was literally my thing. Like, hey, how's Stefan doing at Colorado? I know they're doing pretty good. Is he doing good?
Yeah, I mean, he must be doing better because they're doing better.
I was writing Stefan off when he was still a City because he wasn't seeing any fucking field time and he was choking on the pitch. So that's the only reason then. But he's gone back to MLS at this point and he's playing. I'm assuming he's playing well because Colorado's doing well. That could be more on the team itself, but who knows? Except for Colorado fans who watches Colorado matches besides Colorado fans.
Yeah, I don't. I watch, I watch my MLS team. I really don't watch.
He's in his late 20s. If he's still in his 20s, he's got to be like 28, 29 at this point. If he's in his 20s,
he's getting up there in the 20s. I would say this: I do watch other MLS games. Like if I know specifically one of the younger guys I want to watch is going to be playing, then I will watch it. But
he just turned 29 in April.
There are not a whole lot of those, so he's hitting what should be his peak,
his prime. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, what else we got in transfer news? Jesus.
Little transfer news, right. Mckennie is currently rejecting all offers. He's asking for a base wage of at least €4 million.
Absolutely true. And I've been saying it all over on X. And because we got these people who somehow think that he should go out and get his money. What they don't realize is that nobody wants to pay him anywhere near that kind of money who has money. First of all, no one at Dortmund ain't signing him for that. Bayern Munich ain't signing him for that. Most Italian teams can't afford that. The only teams that can afford that are in the Premier League. We said this over and over again. There are more there that can, but all they can remember is Mckennie at Leeds. So that's a strike against him. The truth is, and I've been saying it now on X, if he wants to get signed somewhere, he's going to have to lower his wage demands. It's going to have to come down. If he stays in Europe. Well, what? He's coming to MLS?
If he wants to get paid, that's probably going to be the only option.
Because no one's paying him $4 million a year. No way. It ain't happening.
Not in Europe.
No.
Agreed.
It's not happening. And those of you that love and say, well, he had a great year at Juventus last season. So Juventus doesn't seem to give a shit. Do you think anybody else will? And of course, Juventus needs the money as well. But his reputation in England is meh. And it's better in Germany. But the teams that want him in Germany can't afford $4 million in wages. You think Frankfurt's going to bust out that kind of money on top of the $30 million that his agent's demanding? No. I mean, it's crazy. He needs to get a new agent because his agent's effing him over and not being realistic with him. We've gone down the list of teams that can't afford that kind of money, and they're very small. They did get an offer, apparently, from, AC Milan for 20 mil. I don't know if that's true or not. And it was turned down. Probably because it was like 20 mil and 2.5 in wages. Somewhere around there, if I had to guess. Yeah, if you're not willing to take that, then you're not going to get signed by anybody. Because that's about what your real, honest to goodness going rate is in the minds of most teams. I'm sorry. In this case, transfer market, having them at, I don't know what they have them at. 30 mil? Do they really have them at 30 mil transfer market? Can we pull that up real quick?
Yeah, I think it was 28 last I saw. But they're talking like, I saw people talking about like they're looking for like 8 to 10. But let's see, Weston, Mckennie.
You're telling me Juventus want 8 to 10? No, they don't. Because they already turned down a $20 million offer. That's what I've been told.
They turned it down, or did West and his people turn it down?
Juventus turned it down. So there's two parts to this: the wages, and what Juventus want for him, right? The Juventus want at least 30 mil for him, and then on top of that, Mckennie wants a $4 million a season wage. That's an expensive player, man. A very expensive player who did have a very good season last season, but has been more recently not played well in Copa America and looked fat and overweight. And maybe like he wasn't all there, actually. That was the worst effort I've seen from Mckennie as a national team player at Copa America. It was poor, piss poor. So,
well, I'll go out on a limb and somewhat defense here because I don't think Gregg was playing him in the spot that's going to benefit West in that situation.
Gregg doesn't play anybody, but he was the one. Gregg doesn't play anybody really the way they should be played on the team. We already all agree on that. So good riddance to him. At the same time, I just didn't see the effort. I didn't see a fit Mckennie.
No, absolutely. 100% not there, yeah.
So Mckennie needs to get back to being fit. I hope he's training his ass off right now and eating right and getting trimmer. And but I don't know if he's going to get the kind of offers that Juventus and Mckennie's agent are looking for are absolutely sabotaging any opportunity for him to go to a reasonable team.
So I posed this question. Last window, like it was winter window, I guess, whatever it was. That an option for Weston, if he wants to do this, would be to turn down all these offers. He doesn't get played by Juve. And then come January, he has free reign to negotiate with whomever he wants to.
So don't play for half a season?
You don't play for a full year at that point because you just have the freedom. At January, he has the freedom to negotiate, but it's not until the summer season.
That's national team suicide.
I'm just saying. You have Juventus coming out here. If what you were saying earlier was accurate, they turned down a $20 million offer, and West is like, "Well, I want $4 million."
No, Brett, that's an absolutely insane idea. No,
I'm just saying.
You don't sit for a year. No way. No player sits for a year. No, you don't do it. Bobby Wood did it. That was a horrible decision on his part.
Sure.
He's never been part of the U.S. men's national team picture since. No, he can't afford to do it either. The World Cup's coming up fast. He needs to be playing for us. And I guarantee you this, he's not playing at all. He's not getting called up by this new manager unless it's Dolo. But any sane manager, even Thierry Henry would probably look at that and go, whatever, dude. You haven't played for 5-8 months, whatever. You're not playing for this team. No, that would be suicide on his part, career suicide. He needs to go.
Then he needs to take a pay cut. Why is he not taking a pay cut then?
Because he's being stubborn. He's calling the bluff here. And he did, and Juventus said, you called our bluff. We weren't bluffing. Get out of here. We don't want you. That's called in poker when you call someone's bluff and they aren't bluffing. And they're like, hit the road, Jack, along with the other 6 jackals we want out of here because they want more money or they are asking for too much money. You're all gone, including Chiesa. Everybody's gone, including Chesney. Go. Just go hit the road, Jack. And that's what they're doing. They're clearing house right now of players they think they're paying too much for.
True. I mean, just saying they've got if that's the case, if he's really playing the bluff card and got called out, said, hey, we're not bluffing, he's got 25 days to crack a deal.
Yep. Better get on it. That's all I'm saying.
But I mean, I'm like, the bluff card probably should have been pulled before now.
Oh, they were doing it during the season, Brett. Because negotiations were ongoing at the end of last season for Juventus. That's why he didn't play at the end of the season. They're like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you and your agent. Fuck
to my point there, though, is that then at that point, he needs to him or his agent need to fucking take the hint earlier than now.
He needs a new agent.
If offers have already been turned down at certain locations for various reasons, do you think they're going to come back? He's like, no, I was just joking now. I want to accept that deal now.
Scroll down and look at who his agent is, and then you tell me if they're doing a good job once you read the name. Scroll down right there.
That's Wasserman, yeah.
Yeah, you think they're doing a good job?
No, I think a number of Wasserman players who are covered by Wasserman are not doing a great job right now.
That's correct. I think Wasserman has generally done a number of players poor service. recently, which is why they're losing clients. And I think he might want to think about it. Now, we can say this, even though some of our connections and where we get our information are from Wasserman, they might hate us for saying this about them. Okay? I mean, I hope they forgive us, but they're not doing Mckennie a service here. I hope they.
Us shit. I don't care what they think about us.
Yeah, they are. I get shit from Wasserman all the time.
Oh, well, motherfucker.
That's why I'm saying I hope they don't take this too personally, because it's one specific person in Wasserman that I'm talking about and not the whole Wasserman agency. But that person is not serving Mckennie well right now. Okay? Not with an N, capital N-O-T. And so they need to sit down with Weston and say, listen, we got to be really realistic. Chelsea ain't signing you. Aston Villa ain't signing you. Nobody in the Premier League top 10 is going to sign you. Okay? So those are the teams that could afford the massive sums of money we're asking for. So let's get down to brass taxes. What are you willing to accept? Because asking, and then Juventus need to sit down and say, his transfer market's 28 million. We're asking for 30. Like, Juventus need to be realistic too. Otherwise, they're going to F themselves. Now, what usually happens is we'll get down to like a week left in the transfer market, and everybody will panic and make, they'll be conciliatory, and they'll, decide, okay, I will take less, But are we going to really wait that long? Or do you want to make a really good deal and find a team that really, really wants you, but maybe doesn't have $30 million and $4 million worth of wages laying around? Maybe they only have $20 million and $2.5 million. You're still a millionaire. It's not like your family's going to go broke anytime soon. And sign with a team you really want to play for is more important, not only for your career, but also for your national team career. All right. What are we looking at Jonathan David for?
Somebody I said Jonathan David probably has a Wasserman agent as well.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't. But that was the big thing with him, was that the agent wanted like a $10 million agent fee or something stupid like that as well.
We've seen this with several of the players right now. The agents are greedy as shit. They want a huge chunk. It's what killed one of the other deals we were talking about a couple weeks ago, was the agent killed the deal. And so, because he wanted a bigger chunk than they were willing to pay the agent. Right? Jesus, the agents are getting really greedy these days. There's no doubt. But they've always been somewhat greedy. Jonathan David, probably, okay. We read that. All right.
So this is a back and forth you were having as far as the money is concerned.
Yes.
Bob says a pay cut from 2.5, highly doubt it. And you're like, I don't think you understand the situation he's in.
Right.
So Bob talks about how he's asking for 4, but then they'll negotiate down to 3.2, 3.5.
Eventually.
In a decent team in France, Germany, or Italy.
What decent team? Because you're still talking about, at best, $25 million from Juventus. That's their asking price right now is $30 million. They're going to have to come down too. How many teams in France can afford to spend that much money on top of a $4 million wage? Not many. I can tell you, not many. All right. So it's not like there are abundance of teams out there who are willing to spend that kind of money. There are teams that spend wildly and crazily, like Chelsea, but most clubs are looking after the back end. They want to make sure they're not getting in trouble with FFP and all kinds of other issues. We just watched Bordeaux go down because they didn't pay attention to how they ran their business. So nobody's going to pay more for a player that if Mckennie not only had a good season last season, but blew the doors off of the Champions League, blew the doors off of Serie A, and you could say he had a really good season, and I would agree he had a great, but he wasn't like one of the best players in Serie A last season. He was maybe in the top, I don't know.
He's one of the best for Juve.
I think he was one of the best players for Juve, but Juve didn't exactly have that great of a season, did they? They weren't even challenging for the title. That's what we expect from a Juve team. Of course, they had a horrible coach, but that's a whole nother, Anyhow, and then by the end of the season, he looked a little puffy. And then he went to Copa America, looked puffy again, and looked a little half a step slower. All right. You're in your prime, Wes. Let's take less money and play for the love. No, I mean, yes, I would like him to play for the love because that's what I enjoyed watching about Weston McKennie. Through most of his career, he's played for the love of the game. But for him and his agent to be sitting there asking for $4 million right now in wages, good luck finding a team willing to pay that. That's all I'm saying. Good luck.
It's his wages plus the transfer. It's a combination of the two.
Right.
Him with his production level last season, asking for $3 to $4 million from a decent side isn't too out of there.
It wouldn't be absurd if there were more teams like Juventus and AC Milan and Inter Milan who are willing to pay the fee plus his wages. But not even
the fee is a big thing right there, yes.
Right. So
that's the big thing.
And then there are only really 2 or 3 German teams that can afford that. And while most of the Premier League could afford it, he's got a bad reputation there. It's not well earned. I mean, apparently they didn't watch him at Juventus last season, or maybe they just don't care because they're like, well, we saw him in the Premier League and he wasn't very good. So that they're holding that against him there. So
Fumar brings up that Leeds can pay $20 million for Aronson. There's definitely money for West. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt there are teams in EPL who have enough money from the TV contracts and all that shit that they could afford the fee for him.
Yes.
And the big point against him in the EPL is that English fans have a recency bias, opinion of players. So if West played poorly at Leeds, which don't get me wrong, Leeds played poorly, period. But if he played poorly at Leeds and that's what the fans are remembering, doesn't matter how well he did at Juve, they're going to look, well, it's EPL versus Serie A. 2 different things.
When you have to sell, if you're a club, and you have to sell a signing to the fans and supporters, it's never a good thing. So, and there's also just the whole confidence in what West can do in the Premier League. So
West could go to Chelsea.
He won't because Chelsea are really interested in West. But anyhow, we should move on. We beat this to beat a dead horse, but it is what it is, and people just need to be realistic that you could be upset because we all watched how good West was last season. But in more recent memory banks, we also watched him not play a couple games at the end of the season because of these talks or not play or start anymore. And then we watched him at Copa America, and that was less than impressive. It was the worst West I've ever seen. So he didn't even use Copa America to boost up his stock. It went down because he showed up overweight. And
I missed a big chat. I did miss a big chat. Hold on, let me pull this up real quick. Before I pull this up real quick, because it's a different topic here. Just talking about USA players. If you're a midfield, I know they played 2 different midfield positions, but at this point, if you're looking for a U.S. midfielder, Reina is like $10 million less market value than Weston is.
Yeah, but we're not selling. Dortmund are not selling Reina, people.
I'm just saying. No. I'm just saying that if Reina can go for less. My point being is that other clubs are going to look at Weston's market value and his salary, like we said, and they're going to say, I can find somebody arguably just as productive as you for less.
Well, Reina wouldn't be a like for like, but yeah, okay. I get what you're saying. That's true. And yeah. By the way, Leeds way overpaid when they were a Premier League team for Aarons. Let's just be really frank about that. And they totally regret it now. So overpaying for players is a poor financial way to run your club. Now, maybe they believed Aronson would get to the Premier League and fireworks would shoot out his ass. But although he had some good games at the beginning of the season, that simply just didn't happen. But now he's back, and he's trying to earn the trust back of the fans and the supporters, and we'll see what happens. Samuel Let'swing, thank you for the $20, brother. Met with USSF about their Safe Spaces to Play initiative. Please look it up, Brett. They told me I need to raise all the money, $1 million, and they manage the construction project. What the F? Way to build pickup culture, USSF losers. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know what that program is, and we'll bring it up here just to promote it. But yeah, it sounds like they're not really ready to pump the money in there. Sorry to hear that, brother, because it's kind of a cool idea.
I'm just going to say the 1 million plus, the U.S. Soccer could fund this. But basically, what is it? It looks like they're going through neighborhoods around the U.S. and aiming to create 1,000 mini pitches across the country.
Yep.
That's doable.
What is a mini pitch? Yep, there it is. Yeah, I've heard not a whole lot of these have been built yet. I know the goals to build 1,000, but that we know that they're nowhere near it. So, yeah, sorry to hear that, because I think it would be good. I think that would get people excited. Kids, I mean, even my neighborhood here, the kids go into the tennis courts and they go kick around, and they're all Hispanic kids and Latin kids, and they play soccer the whole summer. They were playing soccer. They were in the swimming pool. Then they went and kicked. They brought their own fold out goals and shit and played all summer out there. And if we could, have safe places for everybody to play, that I think goes a long way. I know our old friend Jared Skinner was really into this concept for a while for Indianapolis. He was trying to get those built and raise money for them. Not sure whatever he ever got accomplished on that, but
yeah, I mean, at that point, it's just the constant maintenance. But that's the same that fall in the parks and rec of whatever neighbor or community that it goes into. No different than a basketball court or a tennis court for anybody, or a park.
Pickleball. By the way, for the 369 of you, I just went over that were just here. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma. Even make sure you like whether you're on Twitter and watching or you're right here with us here now on YouTube. And we do appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see here. What else we got?
Let's just see.
Good luck to you, Samuel. Good luck, man.
46062. Let's just see if there's anything close by.
Oh, you want to look up to see if there's one in Indiana?
Apparently there is, but that's on the south side of Indianapolis. Looks like actually It's downtown Indianapolis.
Where exactly?
Is that at
zoom in a little more?
That's at Arsenal Tech.
And and take down Samuel's because I can't really see the map and know anybody else. Yeah, there we go.
That's at Arsenal Tech.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, there's Arsenal right there, Michigan. All right, there's another one.
Well, that's apropos. Arsenal Tech.
I'm not going there to play.
Yeah, Arsenal though.
30th and what is that? Keystone.
Interesting.
There you go, Oscar Charleston Park. All right, those are the two safe zone fields in Indy.
Okay,
I guess.
All right. Well, I'm glad they built some, but I know that they were looking.
Rentos, I have given out a lot of information as far as where I actually live.
yeah, it's not a total secret.
It's not a great secret by any means. Plus, I guarantee you that stuff's on the internet. You can literally probably search my name and find out where it's all at.
Don't tell people that.
Everybody knows that shit, dude.
I know.
Everybody in this chat's either our age or younger.
Already start worrying about your kids. All right.
They'll knock on the door. I don't answer the door, by the way. I don't care who it is.
Your kids do. When I come over.
That's true. The kids do answer the door because they think it's their friends coming to see if they want to play.
Yeah. So Well, you live in a pretty goddamn nice neighborhood, so I think you're fine. But
or do I?
No, you do. You do live in a
or
really nice
do
neighborhood.
I?
No, you do. I don't know.
Derek, we're talking about the possibility of me being doxxed, and you're like, but you live in a very affluent neighborhood.
Come on. All those neighborhoods around that place are affluent. All of them are. So, yeah.
There's
which one of the
different neighborhoods in Noblesville, man.
Which one of the hundreds of ones that are they going to be able to, narrow down to find you? Come on.
Everybody, Brett's house for dinner tomorrow at 7.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. BMR says, Brett, you let Derek in your house? Yeah, he came over. We he had to do the voice recording for the animated skit.
We did a couple games there too at your place.
You did watch a couple, yeah.
I think I couldn't get whatever the game was for whatever dumbass reason. It was on some funky ass weird channel, and I had to go over there and watch one of the U.S. games.
I mean, I would tell you, if you came to my house, I would tell you where Derek was, but I wouldn't even send you that way because that area now is just really fucked as far as traffic is concerned.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy. Yep, they're almost done with that circle near South Harbor. By the way, almost at the entrance.
We're gonna do the circle again, huh?
The roundabout.
It was only like 5 days ago, man. 4 or 5 days ago, we talked about this.
I'm a very simple-minded person. All right. What else we got? More? Do we have more of this?
No, we're gonna move on to a different transfer news here. Tim Reed to Charlotte.
That's what I meant.
Oh, you're not seeing it because I don't have it shared.
All right,
Reed
to Charlotte. But this we've known this is going to happen for some time.
They're finalizing the deal, so I mean it looks like it's legit done almost.
Well, that's what Tom Don't Bogart that joint, my friend says.
Yeah, you can sing it all you want. Just don't play the video.
I will miss Tim Ream at Fulham personally as a Fulham fan. Now I got Jedi to watch there, and maybe another player that's rumored to be going to Fulham, but we shall see if that happens. Who was the rumor? The Fulham rumor. American going to Fulham. Shit.
We talked about it a couple shows ago, I think.
Yeah, now I can't remember. Somebody will know in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, mother of sin. Got rid of my last one. It was Mark McKenzie possibly heading to Bundesliga.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. That's fine. I hope he does. If he does, he'll play for one of the bottom 5-6 teams.
He needs an upgrade. He needs to get out of belt at this point.
Yes, he does. He's not even the best center back on Genk. If he goes abroad to Bundesliga, he'll probably be playing for one of the bottom 5 or 6 teams. That would be my best guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or one of the ones that are in the bottom half, because I don't think any of the top half teams looked at his roller coaster ride at Genk and gone, there's a guy who's consistent every night, because he wasn't. All right.
I think I had this up as well. I may have double-clicked the X's altogether. Tessman, he's been rumored to go everywhere. I think is basically finalizing at Fiorentina at this point.
It sounds like it, but now I think that last I heard was he was worried about getting some guarantees that he'll be given
Here we go. I got it.
He'll be given a fair chance to play, right? Because, I mean, Fiorentina spending 5.5, that's mattress money to them. So, I mean, whenever you're being sold for that little amount, you have to have some concern that other players getting paid more, or they have invested more in, with higher salaries and a higher fee, that they'll, probably play those guys first, or give them a chance before they give Testament a chance. So I get his worries. So this is apparently on Testament and his agent right now, but the offer's been made. So
I'd say sack up and fight for your spot. That's what you're supposed to do as a player.
That's true, but if he stays at Venezia, he is playing in Serie A, by the way, the whole season. Sure. And he's a starter. He's just check off the box. He's starting every game for the whole season. So that's something for him to. That's why there's some reluctance on his part. He's a leader on that team at Venezia. So didn't
he request a leave though? When all the rumors started swirling, didn't he request a leave of Venezia at that point?
I heard that, but I don't know for sure. I mean, it's so hard to say for sure these days, any of these reports.
Yeah.
So if he requested to leave, that'd be really surprising. But to me, it would be surprising. You just busted your balls for a whole season to get your team promoted. And now you just want to be like, get me out of here. I got to get out of here. Well, you just busted your ass for a whole season to get this team. And you're living in Venice. It's like one of the most beautiful cities in the world. I mean, whatever. We'll see what happens. But I do want to say this about Ream real quick before we move on. I think it's time we need to probably start thinking about the new manager will do this. Who can replace Ream? For me, the obvious answer is John Brooks. Also left-footed, also can make those long passes and through balls that Ream does. But that will be up to the new manager. They're basically the same player, except Brooks is like, 3 inches taller? 5 years younger, and 5 years younger, 4 inches taller. 3 inches taller. So there you go. They're both slow on the turn. But if you're thinking about who's pairing with Richards, who has played way better for Crystal Palace than he does for us. So again, that's going to be up to the new manager as well to get the most out of the players, to get what they're doing at their club level at the national team level. All right.
Somebody had mentioned, let me pull back up the chat a bit, that the 5 is Frank. They don't spend a lot of money. 5.5 is not mattress money to them. So I decided to take a look at their transfers. They got they spent 50. Oh yeah, let me just pull it up here.
It's on Transfer Market, so we'll be able to tell what the players were all bought for.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Oh my goodness, go away. So here's 23-24 arrivals.
Yep.
So they had a couple of players that spent more than 5.5. The rest of them are all less than that.
Okay.
24 was a lot the same way. 115, 113. They got Moiskin from Juve. And then so far they've got a loan, and that's about it.
Yeah.
If,
I mean,
go back
their deals in a lot of cases, I guess, are smaller, but they are frugal. So I guess it works out.
They have some out of left field prices sometimes.
Yeah.
But I mean, they have like 2 or 3 big signings this season, it looks like. And then the rest is less.
Well, there aren't a whole lot of them either.
Yeah.
So
looking at their departures, man, their departure is always like 2-3 times the size.
Yeah.
That was
so. I mean, is it unheard of? No. Is it? I shouldn't have called it mattress money, but it's not a whole lot of money. 5.5. I'm sorry, it's just not in the world of transfer fees. That's a pretty good deal. And for a player who may or not even work out for your team, I mean, is there a guarantee Tessman goes to Fiorentina and is a starter? I don't think so. I really don't.
Nothing's ever guaranteed with U.S. players.
Yeah.
We were talking about whether or not Pulisic was going to be a starter with Chuck.
Right. So, by the way, people asking in the chat, Tact will be here Thursday.
Yeah, well, that's basically what I said. I said maybe Thursday. It was a busy weekend for him.
Right. And he has talked about needing a break too. Let's keep that in mind. Although he was on X today, so
yeah. I mean, the summer of soccer's over. He's going to get his break.
Well,
my thing would be like, suck it up, Buttercup.
As I called it, it's the somber summer of soccer. which is 3 S's, which isn't very good. But there's the alliteration. Right, with the S's. Yeah. English major. All right.
Bentley says that they have 2 or 3 midfielders left right now. A ton left during the off season here.
So Tessman could get minutes. I mean, it's possible. We don't know how many more players they're going to sign. I hope they're way in love with Tessman. That's what I always hope when an American goes there to a new team. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it don't. Isn't there a candy bar where that's the song? Sometimes I feel like a nut. Sometimes I don't. Yeah. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. So we'll see. We're all just until this deal is done, since we've been going through this for like the last month with Tessman, until it's done at this point, I just don't believe anything until I hear Fabrizio Romano say the deal is done, or Manuel Veth says the deal is done. Then I'll believe it's done. Still a guy, by the way, we need to have on the show. Manuel. I need to text him. Just
you got the contact, man. Just say, hey.
I know.
Thursday, bitch.
I don't think I'm going to call Manuel a bitch.
Do it.
I don't think he'll like that much. I mean, he might laugh, actually. He has a good sense of humor for a German.
Better. If you're communicating with him, you better know your sense of humor.
I mean, he has a great sense of humor because I talked to him at length after a particular show that I was on, that he was on. And yeah.
I don't think you need to be so coy with that if you guys are both on a show at the same time. Probably go back and find that pretty easily.
This is after the show was over.
Fair.
So it wasn't broadcast, but we sat around and talked for a little while. He does have a good sense of humor for a German. So that's good. Not that there aren't Germans with senses of humor. There are. But the older generation wasn't, quite as giggly. I can say that. More serious. U.S. under-20 men's youth national team falls to Mexico 2-1 in extra time of the CONCACAF U20 championship final. Some people said this was a conspiracy theory, although if you rewatch it and you go watch at how long Reigns was injured and on the ground, it amounts to an extra minute in extra time. Still a little funky that it went on for another extra 30 seconds beyond the Reigns injury. But it happens in soccer. We didn't hold our shit together. That should have been 1-0 and over. I mean, we blew it. And we didn't play very well either. We didn't look very good. Not that Mexico was lighten it up or anything, but it was a painful game to watch. It really was. So there you go. Wasn't great.
I actually did not watch it. I caught text commentary because I was busy doing shit at the house. So, that was at 5:00. No, I was literally just getting home from work, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. So Nico Sakiris, earns the Golden Ball as tournament best player, and David Vasquez earns Golden Boot as tournament top scorer. So those are the positives you can take away from that.
What's this award then?
Longest cock.
It must be. Really is. The way he's holding it looks like it's photoshopped in between his hands.
I don't know what that award is. I really don't. But it looks like we took all but one.
Yeah.
One award. So, and then, as far as the number of these guys that can, will be around and in the future and have a shot, really hard to say. I mean, Berchamas had some.
The golden ruler. Golden flashlight. God Kong's assuming it's fair play.
Must be. But I much prefer the golden flashlight. That's flashlight for longest cock award. Anyhow, so there are certain guys like Sakiris and Berchamas, and there's hope there. There's hope there for some of these guys. And I thought Baudry played pretty well at goalkeeper for the most part. So there's hope. but they're really young. They're really well. They're not actually that young. Some of these guys are 19 years old. That's not really young anymore, is it?
No. We maybe we just get a generation of serviceable players that can kind of fill in, and then also the next generation, because we have the Albert going off to Dortmund. We have Cavan heading over to Man City. And there's that New York kid. I forgot where he's off to.
Well,
so maybe this generation is the generation of filler, and then the next generation we have those handful of standouts. Maybe I'm saying maybe here, guys. I'm not saying they will by any means.
And we haven't even talked about the players that are already youngsters who are like 16, 17, 18 in some cases, already in Germany playing for the U19 Bundesliga.
And all the U20s that couldn't be released for this.
So, I mean, for instance, you got Max Speed, who's at Elversberg playing for the U19s. He played this weekend. We have Oliver Rees. He's a goalkeeper that plays for Meppen's U19s in the Youth Bundesliga. They won this weekend. He played all 90 minutes and started. We got Drew Murphy, who's 18 years old, plays at Freiburg's 2 team. He's a tall-ass center back. He came from the Earthquake system, youth system. He went 90 in a win. This is all in Bundesliga Youth League. George Acuero, who plays for Rot-Weiss Essen, went 90 for their U19s. And then Deem Klapija went, he's a striker from the New York City Youth. This is just an example just this weekend. Mm-hmm. He went, let me see. He only got the last 5 minutes for RB Leipzig's U19s versus Dresden, but still it's a start because he just got there. And these are people nobody's talking about. Absolutely nobody, zero talking about these kids who are already over there in the youth teams in the Bundesliga. And I know some of those team names aren't huge, like Elversberg and Meppen, but so what? They're all playing in the same league against one another. So they're playing the Freiburgs and the bigger name teams as well. So they're going to get tested.
Yeah. And if they're youth players and part of the youth system as a whole, I mean, they're going to get moved up different. They're going to get picked. They could get picked up by other clubs. Anything's possible. They're still out there playing, though, is the big thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So it's good and that's just a half of them. It'll
be interesting to see the roster for the U20 World Cup at that point.
Yeah.
And who actually gets released and so forth.
Right.
I saw somebody went through and made the depth chart like 5 in each position for the U20s.
I saw that too.
And I should have saved it and pulled it up. But
I mean, I wouldn't know a lot of some of those players.
That was probably my big problem there too, quite frankly.
I'm like, I don't really start paying attention to you unless
you don't pay attention to me
as a player.
Okay.
I don't start paying attention to you unless, say, let's give an example. Cole Campbell.
Oh, so you just brought that up, yeah.
U19s last season. Did I track them? Sure. Was I jizzing all over the house about it? No, I was not. But now that Dortmund have decided this kid's good enough and we're signing him to the big boy team for the season, I mean, that's pretty exciting. Now you're going to have to say, all right, let's see if he gets any minutes. Maybe early in the cup, the Pokal, maybe early. He gets some time off the bench when they're killing Elversberg 10-1. We'll see.
So, let me pull his chat up here. Chambers apparently has it on his Twitter feed. I passed it up already.
Well done.
Yeah. So I mean, there's the list. If anyone wants to look at it real quick, you guys can pause this at any point and look. I don't know 99.9% of them.
I mean, there's some.
I know some of them, yeah, but
for me to say I'm an expert on them, no, I'm not. I've heard the names of most of those, not all. Yeah, I'm looking at like I don't know who the hell Luke Brennan is. Like I have no clue who that is.
We know Esmir. We know Cole.
We know Cole. Yep, we know Bryce. We know Bryce Jameson too. I do at least.
Persimas.
Yep. So,
So
we're gonna know
that's
some.
interesting.
We're not gonna know some. You know,
Like
I'm not experts on teenagers until they do something that makes them stand out to me.
Yeah.
And that's usually getting time on the big boy team. If you're 18 and 19 or 17 and you're getting time on the big boy team, I'm going to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens with Cole Campbell this season at Dortmund. I wish him only the best. For the almost 380 of you who were here at one point, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma, and like it either on Twitter and or X, excuse me, or YouTube. We do appreciate you watching tonight. All right, almost 400, not bad. Very close to 400. All right, what else we got? Oh yeah, this. You know, Charlie Davies gets a lot of crap wrong sometimes. You know, it's very frustrating.
It's really hit and miss. Yeah, sometimes he's spot on, and other times you're just like, what the?
Yeah, he's like pretty erratic. You really don't know what you're going to get out of Charlie Davies, which makes him fun to listen to at least. It's like, what's going to come out of his mouth this time? But
we'll listen to this. We'll listen to the segment at the beginning of the show, and I heard briefly when I had to pull this back up. But they talk about what Walker Zimmerman said about players within the U.S. men's national team.
That's the whole show. Yeah.
Did they? Doesn't say. I was going to ask if they went into that, what they think he's talking about, if that was worthwhile listening to or not. But you've seen that the entire show.
That's somewhere in the show too, and basically, Davies is really pissed because I know we have the quote from Walker, right?
Yeah.
We have the quote.
Not right now. I mean, let me see.
Let's pull it up. Yeah, because Davies was pissed about this quote because he's like, it made it seem like he was criticizing the Olympic team, but he wasn't criticizing the Olympic team. He was criticizing the first team. And then Tony's like, yeah, because I think that's what he was doing as well. It's kind of like, I'm going to criticize the first team to kind of send a warning to these younger guys coming up. Don't become like some of those guys on the first team. And Walker said, I think to some degree we've gotten away from that and feel like just because we're whoever you are, that you just can get called in. That stuff pisses me off.
We'll get the second one here in a second. But to your point, though, when when Davies was going off, and then Miola was like, "Yeah," read that first paragraph. Nobody would assume they're talking about the Olympics here, because how often you do those players on that Olympic squad think of who they are and just expect to get called in?
Exactly.
Nobody.
He's not talking about the Olympic team here.
No.
He's talking about the first team, and then he goes on. I think guys need to, every time they put on the jersey, I don't care how talented you are, you want to play with pride. And I think we have the characters to do it, but we don't always do it. I think that was pretty evident in Copa, honestly.
Yeah.
And even though Walker Zimmerman might not be the right person to deliver this message, somebody's got to deliver it.
He's fine. He's fine for saying this because I mean the message itself is perfectly fine coming from his mouth, quite frankly, because he has been there with the squad. He does experience some things. We saw in the Olympics. We saw stupid plays, like with Way, as far as slapping the guy back of the head, getting the red card. But prior to that, we saw stupid plays with Dest. We saw stupid plays with Wes.
I don't think that's what he's talking about, though. I think he's talking about guys that, regardless of how they're playing for their clubs or whatever, they're just automatically assume they're going to start and they're going to be called up to the team regardless. And what he's saying is, we don't put enough pride in the way we play. We don't always go out there every game and say, hey, I'm wearing the badge. I'm playing for the United States of America. That's what he's saying. There's nothing to do with stupidity. Stupidity happens because I don't doubt Weah's commitment to the U.S. men's national team.
No, I agree with you on that too. But I think that has to, quite frankly, I think that has to play a little bit into the fact that you're playing for pride. You're not going to go out. You wouldn't go out there and do stupid shit.
I'm just telling you, my belief is He's talking about the Reynas. He's even, I think, taking a swipe at Pulisic and Mckennie. I think he's talking about the guys that are entitled to be there. It's what he's saying. A lot of these guys come in, they feel entitled, they're going to get called up regardless, and they don't always put their heart and soul and pride into the game. And we have the characters to do it, but we don't always do it, he says. So,
I get you 100% on that.
It's a pretty goddamn damning thing to say. Whether you like Walker Zimmerman or not is regardless of the point. It's regardless of whether
the
you
same
think
argument we've all been making for some time now.
Right. Regardless of whether how good of a player you think Walker Zimmerman is, he's making a statement. And you could say, oh, well, this sounds like bitter notes or whatever, because he's probably never going to play for the U.S. men's national team again. Although the way Miles Robinson played in the Olympics, it is pretty obvious to me that Zimmerman is a way better player than whatever Miles Robinson is now after his injury.
Thank you. You beat me to that point. I was going to make that same comment. I mean, again, not saying Long was anything special before his injury, but he was definitely a step slower and a step dumber after his injury.
Well, yeah, because he never had the highest soccer IQ to begin with. Long. Yeah. He was a physical specimen who was fast and quick on the turn. Well, after that injury, some of that, he got a half step slower. Yeah. And Miles, I don't know if that's the necessarily 100% of his problem, but he looked like shit in this Olympics. Absolute fucking shit. And so I don't know if that's a guy you need on the U.S. The problem is center back is like the thinnest position we have. Unless, as Tack talked about, you start trying guys like Tanner Tessman. Unless, like you say, we start trying guys like Maloney at center back. Give them a shot. Give them a chance. Bring them into camp. Let them play center back. See how they do. Because center back is thin as shit. Ream is old. You could bring Brooks in, I guess, but give some other guys a chance too. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
All right.
So that's back to the actual topic itself.
So this is Charlie Davies really, I think, saying the right thing here about what he watched and we all watched in that Morocco game.
This team and failing and the way that they did against Morocco. And that comes down to some naive plays.
Yes.
Right? It comes down to poor coaching and poor tactics.
Absolutely.
You're down 1-0 at half. You trot out the same damn team with the same damn lineups and the same tactics in the second half. You didn't think to change the way the team played? What?
No, that's it. Because, listen, throughout this whole tournament, Brett, I've been talking about it with you. I've been talking about it with Tact. I've been talking about it with Pete. The men's Olympic team have used multiple formations in this tournament. 4-4-2s, 4-1-4-1s. But what do we come out with? What do we come out? We played a 4-1-2-3. We played a 4-2-3-1. Okay, yeah, sure. We played a 4-3-3 as well earlier in the tournament. But then it also ended up looking like a 4-4-1-1 later on. The point being, this was the most Berhalter-esque horseshit. This was everything we thought. I was praising the new coaches for doing throughout the Olympic tournament. And Emma Hayes is finally getting away from this supposed system and 4-3-3. In this game, we played a 4-3-3. The other team had 5 players in the midfield. 5. We were outnumbered 3-5. And we got our asses kicked and totally dominated in the midfield. We had no control over the ball, no control over the game. And Mitrovic did absolutely nothing to change that. He didn't switch the formation to a 4-4-2 or something manageable where their 3-5-2 was completely overwhelming our midfield. No, he just let it go. He basically grabbed his ankles, bent over and said, I like this. Little more lube, but I like it. Just keep pumping my asshole with this, and I'll keep playing the same stupid ass, broken down, Berhalter ball that has been pumped into these kids and pumped into my skull before I was hired because Gregg was still there. And their system thing was still a thing at U.S. Soccer that he was supposed to do. But then he clearly showed me in games prior to this that he could do something different. And yet in this game, he sat on his hands and did nothing. What an idiot.
So I will say, and I think I even texted you this. I don't know, were you watching this game live?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe I did text it to you because I clearly wasn't going to tell Jackson this while we were watching it at my work. But that second half, at least for like the first 15, 20 minutes, was completely different. Now, mind you, we didn't come out and play any differently. I think Morocco came out and played differently. They pumped the brakes, and we started gaining ground.
Yep.
And it wasn't until later on in the match that all of a sudden they realized, well, shit, we got to start accelerating again. And then they just ran right over top of us.
Did you see how outnumbered we were in the midfield?
Yeah.
I mean,
that first half was ridiculous.
Could have been any more obvious to anybody. I mean, even a simpleton could have seen that. How does this guy not see that? I don't get it. I don't understand why you keep playing a 4-3-3 in the same old way that Gregg Berhalter played a 4-3-3, and we just refuse to change. It was absurd, absolutely absurd. At least he figured out Duncan Maguire shouldn't have never been picked in the first place and didn't start him. Thank God for that.
They kept bringing him in later in the match, though, man.
Yep. And then we had failure. The outside is Zimmerman. Miles Robinson was one of the worst players on the team. And Mihailovic had a howler in that last game. Another one. Did he have one good game in the whole fucking Olympics? Yes, he did. And those out there like Max, God bless you, Max, but Jesus Christ, what games are you watching? He was a passenger. He's an overage player. He's supposed to be the leader on this team, or one of three leaders on this team.
And do you remember back in the Gold Cup with Mihailovic, he had like one really standout performance, and the rest were all Garbo.
Yep.
And it was always against the weaker opposition in that sense. It was against the weaker opposition in this sense, though, he had his good game. And that's not to take away from his free kick. His free kick was phenomenal. It was a great goal. But he was relatively met. Met in the sense that, as you said, he's an overage player. You expect more.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to waste a spot on an overage player and then play him 95% of the match then he better be putting something else more out there than the rest of the team. Now in that Morocco game, Yao and Aronson were both passengers as well.
Yes,
they were relatively non-existent. Paredes was the only offensive option we had going forward.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Yao because in the other games he played better, but in this Morocco game we set up differently. Like when Yao was coming in the other games, sometimes we were playing a 4-4-1-1 or a 4-4-2, and he just looked more free and he felt more secure. Well, like what's behind him, right? In a 4-3-3, I don't think you feel that comfortable because you don't got four guys behind you, right? So anyhow, it was sad. Or you do have four guys, but it's the center back and the left back and right back, I supposedly are behind you. But in a 4-3-3, it's just it was so thin that was he horrible because of the system, or was he horrible because we played the 4-3-3? That's my question. The standard Berhalter and the standard Berhalter formation, tactics, patterns of play, no creativity, none.
And in a 4-3-3, when one of your middle three is Tessman, and I'm not taking anything away from Tessman here, but he's not the fastest fucking midfielder out there.
Not going to cover as much ground.
He's not going to cover as much ground. That's going to hurt. That's going to hurt your three midfield in that sense. You're going to get overrun like crazy.
Now, was Morocco generally a better team anyhow? Yeah, sure. Were they 4-0 better than us? No. They shouldn't have been. They shouldn't have been that much better than us.
It should have been like 2-0, but we collapsed after that second goal.
Yep.
It was just deflated.
I kind of felt bad for Harriel because neither of those two fouls. The first one didn't look like a PK to me at all. The second one
disagreed wholeheartedly on Twitter than that statement.
All right. Well, I didn't think he
legitimately kicked him in the shin, in the calf.
I watched it in slow-mo. I'm like, that's a pussy fart hit. But
you can call it soft. By all means, call it soft all you want. He went to kick a ball, ended up kicking the player in the box. Player went down. It's going to be a PK every time.
And then the second one, it's like, I think he did his best to pull the arm in. He just couldn't get it in fast enough.
It was actually in a natural position, but then he twisted his body and his hand was out. But if he didn't twist his body, it would have been in a perfectly fine because his elbows were tucked in.
Yeah.
But his hands were out a little bit. But if he didn't twist, his hands wouldn't have been out.
The twist was kind of a natural thing when somebody takes a blast.
100%.
Shot. You're 100%. Just kind of doing that,
where
and then your arm kind of gets out in the way. Yeah. So I want.
But Tolkien had a shit performance too, though. Man, 2 goals on Harriel, 2 goals on Tolkien.
Yeah, it was a rough one. But also for the players, it's not an excuse, but we just came out and played the same old way that we always played in the same old patterns of play. And it was easy for the other team. It was so easy. Like if you were planning for us, you're like, well, if they're coming out in a 4-3-3, this is the shit they do when they play a 4-3-3. This is the dumbass shit they do. And it's going to be easy. We're going to flood the fucking midfield with 5 midfielders. We're going to play a 3-5, whatever they have, 3-5-2, I think is what they know. Anyhow, we just looked outnumbered completely in the midfield.
I was honestly surprised and caught off guard how much venom was being thrown around when talking about that first PK. I mean, I got jumped on hard from I think listeners, people who normally listen to our show, like really going at it. It all smoothed out in the end, but it was just there was a lot of venom going around with that PK call.
Well, he certainly didn't mean to do it.
He's going for the ball, but no more than going for the ball anywhere and kicking a player. It's going to be a foul.
It just so happened that guy had to be was in the way.
Yeah, Weston had a play a couple years back at U of A that the exact same thing happened. Like the ball's coming down right here, he's looking to swing, and all of a sudden somebody comes from behind and shoves his leg in front of Weston and the ball and gets kicked, and they got a PK. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's really unfortunate, and I hate those type of calls.
Well, don't ever say we don't disagree on the show because we disagree about that call. I'm with everybody else. To me,
I thought it was a soft call too, but it's going to happen 90% of the time.
It looks so much worse in slow-mo too. Like real time, I'm like, I don't see anything. But anyhow, Johnny for $2. I want Duncan and the Hobbit to X my wife.
The Hobbit's Tolkien.
Oh, you're into that too? Just like the turd in the background?
Maybe Larry's been the turd this entire time.
Hard to say. I don't think we.
You don't need a translator for the turd, though.
Do we really know who the turd is?
No, we have no idea. I have no idea. At least
I know.
He's held on to his identity pretty tightly.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's the real turd.
Maybe it is the real.
All right, CC Heat. Good to see you around again, brother. $10. Derek Brett, great pod. How much was Gio's Copa performance on the coach, and how much was it on him? Dortmund declared Gio fully match fit after his busted leg in November 23. By January 24, Gio went to Forest. How much was that on Gregg?
The Copa performance. I'll start this off because I hated the position that Gregg put Gio in. I hated him playing further back on the pitch.
Yeah.
And having Weston play higher. Now, personally, I think flip-flopping those two players would have made a massive difference.
Yeah, I thought once Gregg had tested a 4-2-3-1, he would go with it more often, but no. He went back to the 4-3-3 and just
that Gio back further in that sense. It has to be a tactical decision by Gregg because there's no reason why Gio would sit so far back most of the match.
Well, Yeah, and we've talked this. I think Gregg's vision was to play him as a regista.
Yeah.
As a sort of Pirlo-esque distributor. And that didn't really work out. But
should play one of his biggest strengths. Anytime Gio got up into the attack, things looked much better. It's just he was sitting back so far, and the problem is, especially against better teams, we tend to bypass where Gio's at in that sense. Like, it's usually a quick rush to like a Mckennie or out wide to Pulisic or because you play it out wide to our wing or our backs, and then they're playing it up the pitch. So
yeah. Oh, also, as far as Gio at Dortmund, we've talked about this 1,000 times, so I'm not going to go into all the details again. But the board at Dortmund fired Terzic for lowering the value of their young players. Not because they didn't think he could still coach the team. It's because he wasn't playing their young players that they bought. And all their values dropped. I'll give you an example. Adeyemi went from 40 million to 28 million. Moukoko went from 30 million to 22 million. Reina, during Terzic's era, went from 42 million to 18 million. Felix Mckennie went from 25 million down to 20 million. All losses of young players on the team who didn't get the playing time everybody thought they were going to get.
Yeah. Nearing 100 million in loss right there.
Yes. And who are Dortmund traditionally? They're buy the young players, develop them, play them, sell them big.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why Terzic was cut from the team. They hired a young coach, and at least at one point through build last season, we got a report leaked that said the board wants the new coach, whoever it is, to play the young players. Otherwise, they're going to take literally, in Reina's case, $22 million loss in his value during Terzic's era. And
now I know some of that has to do with the injury. Understand.
Sure.
He came back. He played super sub for half a season, and then he didn't play for another half season. Then got loaned out.
After being the super sub that almost won him the Bundesliga with all his late goals in the season, then next season he didn't get to play at all. And Terzic was like, oh yeah, he doesn't play defense. Well, we saw he can play defense because when he went to Nottingham Forest and he was asked to play defense in a couple critical games, he played defense. Just great. Best obvious one, go back and if you can find it, the Fulham Nottingham Forest game. He played defense for like 25 minutes, 30 minutes straight. And he was very good at it. And he put a lot of effort into it. So when I think now he's proven he can do that. Now we're holding him to account though. If he goes out and he gets opportunities at Dortmund this season and he sucks balls, we're going to say it. Okay? Because now it's going to be all on him. He's going to have to go out there and give his best effort 100% every time he gets minutes. And he's got a new coach who already knew him when he was a youth player. The new coach is a young guy that was a player on the team when Reina was a youth player. They know him. And this guy knows the young players on that team. So that's what Dortmund want. They want this new coach to play the young players. They want to see Adeyemi and Moukoko out there. Hopefully they want to see Reina out there too. And he was their biggest loss because he went from 42 down to 18, where Adeyemi has gone from 40 down to 28. That's a lot of money to lose if you're Dortmund, the board at Dortmund. You're pissed off because the bottom line is always the bottom line for a board. All right, enough of that. I can't believe I have to say this again, but we're still it was because that stupid ass report came out from, I don't remember what idiot in England. It said Dortmund, Reina has no future at Dortmund. Yeah. And I absolutely know that is not true. And if you've been following the German news, you would have known all through last season. And what the board was leaking out, you would also know that's not possibly true. Now, if it ends up being true and they sell him for $8 million and take a, almost a $30 million loss or more on Reyna, to me, that's just malpractice if you're a club. Malpractice. So, all right.
Going off of our conversation about Mitrovic's regression back to the Berhalter ball 4-3-3 formation, Tab Ramos says, hard to erase 6 years of methodology. In a couple of months, it will take a different type of coach at the senior level, one with a very strong mentality as a start, hoping for a fresh start ASAP.
I love this that also people are like, well, why don't you coach the team? And Tab said, listen, I'm not qualified to coach this team.
100% not me. This is a big job. My failure at Houston is enough to not be considered. And that's the way it should be. Reasons don't matter, just results for this job.
Mm-hmm.
But not everybody thinks that, though. You know who doesn't think that?
Yeah, this is pissing me off, dude. I don't know who these Men in Blazers guys think they are. And I've never really had a problem with either one of them. But putting out shit like this is just so fucking lowbrow clown shit. Are you watching U.S. soccer?
I mean, he's clearly watching. He's clearly talking for Henry, basically.
Are you watching the same France that I've been watching? That's the best roster in this tournament struggle against Egypt and other teams in this tournament. What is Thierry Henry, outside of being a guy who probably won't? Here are his positives. He ain't suffering fools. He ain't putting up with jack shit with our players if he becomes the coach. Those are the positives. What are the negatives? He's got hardly any coaching experience and certainly not any good coaching, successful coaching experience. This will be him getting this far in the Olympics. It's the most successful he's ever been.
Maybe he's the type of coach that'll come in, put the right players on the pitch, and then just sort of sit back, cross his legs, and let them play.
Well, I mean, if you take his experience playing at Barcelona as a player and then his time with Arsene Wenger at Arsenal, you would think he might have learned some things, but hard to say. I just don't think that that's the kind of guy you should be going after. Fuck, even Patrick Vieira has more experience than he does and even more success as a club coach than Henry. But whatever. If you want to toot and blow Henry all day, Men in Blazers, then you just get down on your fucking knees and your knee pads and suck his cock. Because, I really don't think whatever we're watching at the Olympics is enough to qualify anybody or any coach, Mitrovic or anyone else, to be the coach of the U.S. men's national team. I thought we were shooting high, Brett. That's what I was told. We're shooting high.
Well, we are, and all of a sudden a name comes up. Is this considered high? Or is this realistic?
It's realistic. It's not high, though.
Yeah.
It's just, it would be realistic and acceptable because the coach in question here has kept two teams from relegation, brought in as an emergency coach and kept them from relegation. Mm-hmm. So he does more with less.
Yep.
Okay. And he's going to have to do more with less on this team if this team, U.S. men's national team, wants to ever have an upset against any team. Any team. And then people are like, well, it's great because he'll play a 3-5-2. Oh, he's played 4-3-3s, 4-4-2s. Go look at his time at Stuttgart. He can play other formations. But what he does is he looks at his team and says, what do I have?
Yeah.
And what formation suits?
Yep.
So that's why he played almost the whole last season in a 3-5-2 because that's what he had on the team. When he's at Stuttgart, it was sort of like 30% of the games he played 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1, 4. He played a lot of different things. It wasn't just three in the back. But once he got to where he is at Hoffenheim, he looked at what he had and said, this is what I got to work with, so that's what I'm going to do. Don't think that this guy is some system dude. He's not a system guy. He looks at his team, and that's how he decides to set up. Let's not get outrageous here with he's only a 3-5-2 guy, because that's not true.
Yeah, I mean that was my argument when this came out this morning. I posted is like, personally, I think he'd be a great fit for the team because of all the reasons you mentioned.
Right.
He's going to look at the players. He's going to find out what probably best suits them, and then he's going to play them in positions to succeed. Whether the players play up to that role is going to be up to them at that point. Will he trial and error at some point? Sure, it's going to happen. You're a new coach. But I think, like you said, he's gotten more accomplished with less. And that's kind of what we need at this point.
Would I rather have Louis van Gaal? Yeah, I would. Because I think he's a genius. And I think he's played he absolutely out-geniused Berhalter at the World Cup, for instance. But he's just a guy with a lot of track record. And he doesn't suffer fools either. We don't want. We do not need a coach who suffers fools. So on the negatives for Matarazzo, I don't know what he is like behind the scenes. I don't know if he's a guy that really pushes his players personally.
I mean, we know that the previous regime couldn't handle big personalities like Brooks, but Matarazzo seems to have no problem with it.
That's true. He didn't seem to have any problems with Brooks or sitting his ass when, the game didn't require him because they're going to play a higher line. And so whenever they were going to play a higher line, Brooks was on the bench. And by the end of the season, Brooks was on the bench. So I think he can handle the big characters. Listen, if we're settling on Matarazzo, yeah, I'm fine. If that's what our settling is, because everybody else said go blow a blow-up doll, yeah, fine. Or go play with a bag of dicks. I'm not interested, then I'm fine with settling on a Matarazzo. Would I like Louis van Gaal? I would like.
And this would be one of those instances where if he gets the 2 years, and if he does well, that even as a single cycle purist as myself wouldn't have a problem with him coming back for a second cycle because he's only had like 2 years.
He's only getting 2 years.
Yeah.
So
I mean but that'd be on requirement that he does well in those 2 years, that I would be like, I'm cool with him coming back.
But the reports are this isn't happening.
Says it.
Derek Ray says, these are false statements. This is quoting him. I have never said I would like to leave our club. Well, what is that really saying if you really read that and you're an English major, Brett?
It's the I never said that. Sort of like the I'm focusing on my club right now.
Right. It's basically saying, I never said I want to leave.
Yeah.
Or I'd like to leave. That doesn't mean he's not considering it. Kicker also reports interest from U.S. Soccer. Matarazzo stems back approximately 2 weeks. As a matter of transparency, he made it known to the club boss, Alex Rosen, who since left and been fired or let go or whatever you want to call it.
So I pose the question, why, for somebody who's still in Bundesliga, and even if he were to say he's got like one more season left or whatever, let's just say he leaves Hoffenheim, he's still on like the entire bottom half of the Bundesliga's shopping list in case they do a fire of a manager at some point in the season.
Yeah,
it is. So my question to you is like, why would he leave, the glamour of the Bundesliga at this point for a possible 2-year contract with the U.S. men's national team, when you could possibly not do well with the U.S. men's national team, and could that hurt his chances moving forward?
No,
or going back to Bundesliga.
No.
Okay.
He'll always be able to go back to the Bundesliga because just like any coach who has a record of saving teams who are in relegation in the zone or near it, that record will always get you rehired, whether it's, Darmstadt 3 years from now or whomever. He'll get another shot in the Bundesliga. They won't care about the U.S. soccer failure if there is a failure. For him, the positives are you're looking at probably the last time in many, 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 many eons that the United States will host a World Cup. And this is a chance for you to do something unprecedented in the World Cup with the United States, with this player pool. I mean, I don't know him personally, and I know he's been on shows of people that we do know, and they like him a lot, and I like him a lot too. But I don't know how probable this is. But if this conversation's been going on for 2 weeks, either the offer isn't very good, or he just isn't interested. If these talks have been going on for 2 weeks. So,
well, you said the interest stems back to 2 weeks ago. It may not have carried on. It may have lasted 1 day 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the news is just now breaking.
Yep.
I mean, Men in Blazers follows it up by saying that Matarazzo is expected.
What time was this?
This quote? This right here?
Yeah.
This was 1:14 or 1:41 p.m.
Oh, they're misquoting the whole comment that Derek Ray made then. They're misquoting it completely.
What do you mean they're misquoting it?
The whole idea that he's expected to stay at Hoffenheim is fine. No one's confirmed he's turned down the approach yet. No one's saying he's turned it down. I have not seen any official report from anybody that he said he's turning it out, turned it down. He could still be mulling it over for all we know right now.
So you're saying he's taking that quote where Matarazzo came out and said those reports are false. I've never expressed X, Y, and Z, and they're rewording it in their own to form their own narrative in this post.
Yeah, we just read the quote.
Yeah,
that was the most uncommitted quote I've ever heard. I never said I wanted to leave.
Well, therefore, he's expected to stay, right?
That's why I said I agree with the first statement, but not the second.
Oh, turning down. I got you. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I never said I wanted to leave. Well, nobody's talking about you wanting to leave, but maybe you want to coach the U.S. men's national team more. You may want to stay at Hoffenheim, but this is just too big of an opportunity as an American to pass up. And if that's what happens, that's what he'll say. I didn't really want to leave Hoffenheim. I did want to stay. But you know what? This opportunity was too big. And in the end, I decided to take the job. That's all I'm saying, Brett.
Sure.
He'll be able to say that because he hasn't said anything. This isn't any condemnation or commentary on Hoffenheim. He loves Hoffenheim. The players love him. They backed him up this week too, or this weekend. I think, yeah, I mean, he's not said anything definitive like, well, they made me an offer and I just said, go suck a bag of dicks. It's nothing like that's happened. Absolutely nothing. Until I hear it from Fabrizio or somebody I trust, I'm assumed that everything we've read so far is just assumption. And guess what? When you assume, what does that do? It makes that ass out of you and me. That's the spelling of assume, by the way.
You don't say.
Yes. Don't assume shit. Don't assume shit from a tiny quote like that. No. It's going to make an ass of you. So Men in Blair are saying that he's definitely turned down the job. It's over. They're assuming things.
Well, if you said that the reports are false, Derek, clearly he must have turned them down.
All I'm telling you is nobody fucking knows. So stop assuming shit and posting shit like that to make it seem like it's all over. Because nothing Matarazzo came out of Matarazzo's mouth said, I got an offer. I told him to go fucking motorboat my stepsister. All right.
Whoa. Sounds like he accepted them.
Yeah.
We got the super chat. Let's pull this up because it's been on for like 5 minutes plus.
Yeah, for all over 400 of you, almost at one point it was like at 420. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandmother, and like on Twitter and the YouTubes, both, wherever you are. Felipe Silvar, I'm assuming you are a Brazilian, for $5. If Olympic success mattered, why not look at Egypt's U23 coach Mckennie won with Brazil and made Egypt look incredible. Henri hype is getting annoying. It is annoying. But you know what? It's annoying when voices like Men in Blazers get involved in pimping their freaking page by putting up some horse shit. That's what's annoying. Like, aren't you big enough already? You need to pimp Henry now. Is that really what you're going to do?
Just like Wallace, again, they know what they're doing. They know the algorithm.
Yeah, but they're not even antagonistic. They're just, that post is just stupid.
Almost has 142,000 views on it. Although, given that the 1K likes, not a great.
That's just
it's not a great ratio.
That's just giving a guy a reach around who's never deserved one yet. Never. He's done nothing. And then some asshole was earlier today is like, Henry wouldn't even accept that job. Hey, moron, do a little research, you half-wit fucking moron. Wow. He already said on live television on Paramount CBS that he was very interested in coaching the U.S. men's national team. It came out of his own mouth, you dumb shit. Do basic research before making yourself look like a total moron half-wit on X.
He's the one who put his own name into the equation.
He threw his name into the bucket 8 months ago or 7 months ago.
Breaking news. Don't forget about Thierry Henry. I kind of went Russian with that, but
right up there on the set with Davies and who else was there? Dempsey and that English Gallup, Kate, and the annoying English guy, center back guy who gets drunk at Dortmund. Anyhow, I forgot his name. Anyhow, it doesn't really matter. The point is, he said it. He said it right on live TV. So shut up with your, Henry's too good for the United States anyhow. Whatever, dude. Eat that. All right?
Is this who you're talking?
Yeah, Jamie Carragher.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
Yep.
I was going to butcher the last name, though.
I almost said Gallagher, and I'm like, no, that's not right. Why is my brain not working? Yeah. But I do that a lot on this show. Why is my brain not working? Max says, if it is Matarazzo, U.S. soccer can cover a lot of the bases. European pedigree, American connections, and outside of the inner circle. All good points, Max. I'm good with it. Kicker, as sources go. Well, anyhow, don't trust these sources, Max. I mean, that's when Max put up a post before about, Reyna's got to go. He's got to get out of Dortmund. And I told him, he ain't going anywhere, dude. And then I explained it to him, and he was like, okay. And he liked what I said. So, he's willing to listen. That's a good thing about Max. He will listen. And if he likes what you said, that was against what he said, he'll like it. And then he'll even comment and say, okay, that makes some sense.
I mean, I feel like Matarazzo has this expression. This is his expression. Looking up for photos for him to put on the thumbnail was interesting, and I had to go with that one.
They're all kind of the same.
They're very quizzical, oh God, do I really have to?
It either looks like that or what's really going on here? What's going on? Huh? What are you doing? What are you doing out there?
That reminds me of the Ted Lasso line. How was that offsides? Tell me how that's offsides.
Yep.
Of course, he knows what offside is.
Again, I think Brett and I would both totally embrace Matarazzo if he was the choice.
Yes.
I would definitely give him plenty of space and say, I'm there. I'm supportive. Let's see what you can do. If that's what we end up having to do, if the Louis Van Gaals and the Jurgen Klopps and all the other big ass names say, as I said earlier, go suck a bag of dicks, then we're going to have to settle. It's a lot better settling than settling for Dolo. I can tell you that, or settling for Henry.
But it begs the question, obviously, with Crocker coming out and JT backing him up on this, basically saying, "Hey, we're looking at all these high-end candidates."
That's what they told the source.
Even Tax said that they were looking at 5 high-end ones. So did was it Gabe from Leeds?
Yeah.
Also had that exact number, that 5 high-end European pedigreed, managers. Do you think this might have been the plan all along, or do you think they really were in fact looking and then got the price for those high-end Euro options and said, ugh?
No, it ain't price. It's not price. They've been very clear. Nope. Money not an issue. We'll pay. Like the best international coaches in the world are going to get paid no more than $4 to $5 million a year. That's pittance easily that U.S. Soccer could absolutely pay for. It's not price. That's not the problem. The problem is, have they really done their due diligence again? And the fact that they keep telling the leakers that they're doing their due diligence this time. Okay. Well, the proof's going to be in the pudding in the end. That's all I'm saying. The proof is going to be in the pudding. And if you want to, they're not going to release all the people that told them to go suck a bag of dicks. That's just not going to happen. They're not going to do it. But in the end, we'll see once they do hire somebody how hard they really try. Because God help me, if it's Dolo, then we didn't try hard enough. That's all I got to say.
We're really going to have to start not second-guessing Doug McIntyre when he says something like that from now on.
I mean,
this was clearly the game plan from the get-go because he spread that seed far and wide. And they did the smoke and mirrors of, hey, we're looking for this. We're going to have money's no option. Doing their best Jurassic Park impersonation there.
Yeah.
But then they fall back to Dolo.
So Winkley Gonzalez has a good question. Derek and Brett, I have a question. Will Matarazzo hold our players accountable? Does he have a strong aura? That's the one question I just mentioned early on when I was saying positive and negatives and like questions. I don't know. I know he does more with less. That's about all I know. And I don't know how he gets more out of less. Is he just a great tactician and a guy who knows how to set up a team with what he's got? Or does he also hold his players accountable? I don't know about that. And that's why I'd rather have a grumpy motherfucker lead the team like a Louis Van Gaal. But that's my personal choice.
I know I said it 20 minutes ago or so, but he seems to have had no problem with Brooks. And from all that we gather from our sources and the stories we've heard, the players and managers of a U.S. men's national team just simply couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle his personality, his approach.
Right.
But Matarazzo seems to have been fine. He got an entire season doing well.
And his whole locker room, or at least one player speaking for the locker room, a few days ago said, "We love him. We want him to stay. We back him. There's no problem in our locker room." So, yeah, I don't know. Those will be things that if we end up mildly settling for a guy like Matarazzo instead of a big ass name, that we're going to find out, won't we? But we don't know.
Which is funny because prior to the announcement of the big name, I think most fans were sitting here. Most fans, at least on X, are sitting here going like, "Why aren't we talking about Matarazzo? Why aren't we talking about Matarazzo?"
Well, I specifically put out a post that 170K people saw. So yeah.
It almost wonder if U.S. Soccer will have shot themselves in their own foot by mentioning we're going after the biggest and the brightest. Money's no option. And then they do fall back on a guy that most of us were clamoring for to begin with.
Could happen. Yep. And if it does happen, like I said, I think we would embrace Matarazzo and we hope for the best and give him some time to work some shit out. Do I want him to play a 3-5-2? Not particularly. But, and we've just talked about why here many times. Center back is not our strongest position. You're going to play 3 center backs? Ugh, don't like that. But as I also discussed earlier, when he was with Stuttgart, he wasn't strictly a 3 in the back guy. He would play other formations, 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1, 4-1-4-1. You play it all. Just look it up on Transfer Market if you're interested. Go look at his time at Stuttgart.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did he mostly play 3 in the back? Yes. It's like 70, 60% of the time. The other times he played something different. But then I noticed that the transition happened at Stuttgart when a player got injured. And then he switched formations because a particular player got injured. And that left him short in the midfield. So he went to 3 in the back and played wingers instead. Hey, listen, that's what you want a good coach to do. Notice you're short someplace and you need to switch things up to continue winning. And that's what he did. So they're positives. There's some questions about Matarazzo, but we're just not hearing anything. I mean, anything at all. Really, any details about who's been interviewed. We've heard the countries that have been visited, but yeah, we don't know anything yet. So hopefully we'll know something in about a week and a half, or this week, maybe, if we're really lucky. We'll see. But nothing that Matarazzo has said has discounted himself from eventually saying yes yet. So don't believe the men in blazers. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're putting their own spin on things that really makes no sense. So, all right, that's about it. That's what we had tonight. And it went a lot longer than we thought it was going to go because I got to get up at 6:30. Brett, you got to get up at 6:30 tomorrow morning. 6 o'clock. Fucking shit. Yeah, that's painful. 6:30 I thought was painful, but I guess 6 o'clock is worse.
Sorry, but in the end, that extra 30 minutes will make a huge, massive difference as far as how tired you feel in the morning.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So we're going to check out here. And we want to thank everybody. At one point, almost 450 of you who were here. Thank you. Make sure you like, subscribe, give a big fat kiss for me to your stepsister or your grandma because she's around. But don't kiss your grandma on the lips. That's gross.
William Davis says, "Have a great first day at school, Derek."
Oh yeah, somebody knows. Yeah, I'm going back to teaching, folks. Should be interesting.
He's got his lunch packed up and his boots tied tight.
No, I haven't packed shit yet.
Don't get in a fight.
I haven't packed shit yet. That's the problem.
Back to school.
And I need to go take a shower. I need to pack, put out my clothes for tomorrow. I've already been to the school twice, so I know how to get there generally. It's quite a travel. So yeah, I'll be teaching high school. Actually, I'll be teaching history, English, and science. Believe it. That's great. Science? How did that get in there? I don't know. But they need a science teacher too. There's a short one right now. But eventually, I won't be teaching all of those.
Derek's going to come in and say, "All right, we're going to make a solar system out of ping pong balls."
Yeah, no, probably not. But I'll do whatever the curriculum tells me in the science department since I'm not don't have a degree in science. So
how many Napoleon topics or discussions are you going to bring up?
Well, usually in history, it's going to be U.S. history. So not a whole lot about Napoleon, except for Napoleon selling us, most of the United States. Remember that? And so that part will probably come up at some point. But other than that, Americans don't really talk about Napoleon much in U.S. history. He's not a big thing. There'll be a little bit of the War of the 1812, which, people, scholars in Europe think somehow we were allied with Napoleon during, the Napoleonic Wars because we fought the British during the Napoleonic Wars in the War of 1812. Not sure that's exactly contextually accurate, but I'm not getting into that now because we need to get off this show and go to bed. All right, we love you. We will see you on Thursday with Tactical Manager. Until then, have a great night. Mwah!
That hurt.
And to me, it's nauseating. It's absolutely nauseating because
multiple mental health clinicians said that Derek had limited intellectual ability and was not capable of consenting.
Boom.